So with the job form thing, I send it to everyone before they come, just in case, You're the only one that did it properly because you actually put the date that you signed. The rest put their date of birth. And so whenever someone comes in, I've got like the upper hand in one way or another.
Yeah, no, I try to sign all my forms correctly.
But you're smart, that's right. That's what I'm trying to say. So we're 5 episodes in and no one got it right.
That's crazy.
Not even 5 episodes. Like by the time this comes out, it would be like 6 maybe. 6 people, and they all got it wrong.
I mean, I feel like the mobile section was kind of weird because it had it was like 3 numbers and then 3 and then it's
Did
weird.
it?
But yeah,
Was it screwed up?
It was a weird formatting.
I have to check it out because I haven't made it. It's just automated, and then you put in whatever you want to do, and it's only there just in case people go, oh no, don't post this video, don't post that video, but you've already signed, so we've got you by the neck. Well, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah,
I
no
appreciate
worries.
it. I appreciate you driving all the way here. I know it's been kind of hard, and so pick a number from 1 to 10, just off the bat.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, of course.
9.
9. All right. Now you've got the frame and you've got 9 seconds to introduce yourself. And it starts now.
My name's Marsalis, or Mars for short, and I am a social media manager and filmmaker, photographer. I think that's about it.
I think you've run out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's good. Is that what you would say to everyone? Or would you cut it short if you had the time, if you had to think about it?
If I was to make it shorter and I had time to think about it, I'd probably say I'm like a student filmmaker and photographer.
Why don't you just say filmmaker straight up?
Yeah, I mean I can just say filmmaker.
Sounds more badass. Right?
Well, I mean, I can say award-winning photographer and filmmaker
Jesus, bro.
because technically, and I'm going to be exposed right now, but when we have for my city council, they have a photography competition, and it was for youth photography.
Wait, what city?
Bayside City Council.
Yeah, okay.
And they had youth photography competition from ages up to 25 or something. And so I entered my photo in there, and I won. I was like, oh, sick. And then it was the awards night, and so I won an award, and I was standing next to these little kids. But I mean, technically, I can say I'm an award-winning photographer and filmmaker.
How old were you?
18 probably.
That's not that young, if I'm being honest. They say youth, but no, that's understandable.
Yeah.
What photo was it? What was the photo?
It was one that I took in. Oh, where was it? I think it was. So I was having a trip down to Lawn, and there was. We went to the beach, and there was this cool rock face, and I kind of shot through. So there was a little hole in the rock face, and it looked like a lioness, like a female lion.
Okay.
So I shot through there, and the silhouette, and then you can see the beach in the background, but it kind of looks like a lioness silhouette, which looks really cool.
What cameras did you use?
So I used my trusty Canon 200D. It's not the best. It's an entry-level thing, but it's more of a hobby than a professional thing.
Why is it a hobby? Why is it not professional? Why is it professional now?
I wouldn't say I'm a professional photographer.
But I've seen the photos. You got that one photo with the spider. That was cool as on your Instagram.
Oh, that spider's probably... Oh, that was in my driveway. So.
Oh, but it was cool. Did you take it with a phone?
No, that was with my camera. But
The same one?
Yeah.
No, it looks badass.
Oh, thank you.
I looked through all the photos. I'm a stalker.
Yeah.
I didn't get, I didn't have the time to actually go through everything. But I went through what I had the time to go through.
Yeah.
I like the spider one. I like the one with the city building, was it? There's a one with the city building. There's a lot of city buildings. There's one that's a little bit... It's got low temperature on it. It's got low warmth. It's a high contrast, low warmth. It's a little bit bluish, kind of. It's
Yes.
one, literally one. No, not that one. Not that one. See, he's already stalking you too.
Yeah. Did you find my film account though?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched both of them. I watched Oscar Wilde, and I watched what was the other one? Postage. It was about postage.
Yeah, so that was...
Postage lines.
Postage lines,
Yes,
yeah. That was made in my first year of uni. It's a 90-second film, so that's an assignment we had to do.
Was that you acting?
No, that's my brother acting.
Ah.
Both of them. Yeah.
Because I looked at it and it said 2020, And I looked at your phone and I was like, that boy grew up. But he's a good actor. No. Don't do him like that.
No, I feel agree.
Yeah, for what it counts.
Yeah, like we were filming his. So he's in year 12 now and he's doing media.
Nice.
And so we need to film his media thing, and I was starring in his now, so like the roles are kind of reversed. But he also had a part in it, and we kind of joked that he can't make a crying face because he just looks constipated. And it's really funny.
Jesus, bro. So, what, apart from your uni projects, what else are you working on for film?
For film,
Well, first of all, let's start. How long have you been working on film for?
like I've been studying film at uni for 4 years, so it's my 4th year. I've been doing media throughout high school, and then I've always had an interest in cameras and filmmaking. I never really realized that until I look back on it now, and I was always the one like filming the home videos. I was never in front of it. That was my brother in front. But I was always the one behind the camera filming everything. So I think I've always had an interest in filmmaking and making screen products. But it was only after like high school going into studying film and TV, that's when I really like developed my passion for film.
So, it's basically a passion, yeah?
Yeah.
It's what you breathe and eat every day.
Mm-hmm.
What's your end goal for it?
Like at the start of uni, like most people,
Hollywood.
it would have been like, like Hollywood or big sets, or like I want to be the biggest director.
Yeah.
But
A24, it's not that bad.
yeah. But now, after like going through this whole process and working on so many sets and getting to talk to like these big professionals who say like, oh yeah, so I was like an assistant to the assistant for 10 years, and then I was an assistant for 10 years, and now I'm finally like a cinematographer, and I'm like an old man now. Like, I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to transition more into smaller companies, smaller production houses where I just like constantly make screen products. It doesn't have to be like the biggest, flashiest thing. But as long as I can get my hands on the camera and be on set and actually have like a major role in something, that's really what I want to do.
So you really want to produce?
Yeah.
You don't want to be just standing on the byline and watching people produce?
Yeah. I don't want to hand someone like a screwdriver or something. I want to like actually hold the camera and film stuff.
But that's kind of like a cameraman job, isn't it? Or do you as a director do the same thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, I can break down like the entire film.
Oh, go ahead. We got the time for it.
So this is something that we talked about in first year uni. And because people don't really know how much goes on behind the scenes of like big films. So like you'll have your producer, like the big heads, you'll have the producer and the director. The producer's in charge of like all the logistical stuff and all the paperwork and finances, legal stuff. And then you've got the director who like shapes the entire vision of the film. And then this trickles down into everywhere else. So you've got the cinematographer, also known as the director of photography, because film is just like 24, 25 frames a second. So you're taking like 25 pictures. That's what I like to think. Because we're not just pressing record, we're taking photos every single second. So yeah, you have your cinematographer, also known as director of photography, and they're more of the technical one. So on smaller sets, the DOP, cinematographer, is normally the camera person. Bigger sets, you might have a separate camera person. But I like to think of the director as the creative one, affecting the whole production and shaping the creative elements of everything.
Okay.
And then the cinematographer as the person who translates that into technical camera terms. So the director might say, okay, can we have like a warm feeling, or can we make these lights nice and warm and the whole room a bit nice and cozy? And then that will be taken to the cinematographer, who will say, okay, so you want a warm, let's change these lightings to tungsten, and then let's bring in these curtains and then bring down the exposure levels of the background. And so a bit more technical stuff, which I do like as well. But I like dipping my hands into like...
Bro, cinematographer
everywhere.
sounds like an annoying job. Because you're getting orders down all the time and you have to follow it. Or can you say no?
Yeah, I think it depends on your relationship with the director. I like for me, directing, I respect everyone's roles on set, and I feel like all directors should do that. But more that I understand that everyone has their expertise. So you'll have your production designer who does the art department, you'll have the cinematographer, you have the soundies, you'll have a lighting team, everything like that. And everyone has, you've gotten them on to this job because they're experts at what they do. So you need to trust them sometimes that they know better than you. But overall, the director is in charge of the entire thing. So sometimes you'll get cinematographers, for example, who say, oh, this shot's going to look really cool and let's do it this way. But the director needs to keep in mind that, okay, this actually will look cool, but it won't work in the context of the film.
Yeah.
So there's a push and pull, and I like working like that way.
No, I understand, because especially when we were trying to release this podcast, there was an idea for a short film that we wanted to create. And the idea was in my head, and I had to write it out and perform it. But when we actually got to record it, a lot of people pitched in, and I had my cameraman who was also a cinematographer, because it was literally just me, my cinematographer, and lighting guy, and a couple of actors. And so the thing that I had in mind was always, oh, you shouldn't do this, you should do that, you should do that, you shouldn't do this, you should do that. And it's cool to get like an outside perspective from other people, because it helps you understand something you might not have understood before. But how often do you allow it to? How often do you accept it? How often would you say, like, okay, I'm going to go with what you think, even though I might want to go with what I want to think?
So for me as a director, I'm always going to say, like, I'll always have the final word. And so people will say things and I take them as suggestions. So...
Bit bossy?
Kind of a bit bossy. But more like... everything that people are saying are their ideas, but you've been chosen and you're on the set to make sure that everything is cohesive. So you need to bring all these ideas together into one unified product. So if it doesn't fit that, then you got to chuck it out.
Have you ever chucked out anything yet? Or everything you've worked on is pretty pristine?
Yeah, like I'm in film school, so a lot of that stuff is we'll never see the light of day. But
like full projects or just ideas? Have you scrapped like a whole project?
Well, I mean, we had a project a couple years ago that I worked on that I directed, and it's a 16mm film. And there's a lot of stuff that, looking back on it, I could have done differently.
Well, 16mm is
like physical film. So I have like it's not a pizza box, but I call it that because it's just a cardboard box.
Okay.
Under my bed that has the actual like film. So like I made this movie. This is in my hands.
So can you explain to the people that are not aware what's a 16mm film?
So you've got different. Most people would know like film cameras taking pictures, but for movies and films, you'll use like strips of film. And you've got like 8mm, 16mm, 32, all the way up to IMAX film, whatever Christopher Nolan's shooting.
Oh, it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge.
It's massive.
Have you seen the memes about booking the first ticket on the front row when the atomic bomb scene?
He's so roasted, man.
But he didn't use CGI.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard much about that, but I think...
About not using CGI?
I haven't looked much into it. Like I know that he hasn't.
Yeah.
But I think he like obviously didn't blow up an atomic bomb because that's horrible.
We don't know that yet. I mean, we should by the time. Well, it's already out. Today is the 21st.
Yeah, I think
it's out yesterday.
Yeah, people.
Yeah, because we're in Australia.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go see it?
I will go see it at some point.
At some point. It's a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah, I know. I dislike the idea of going to see a movie because you like the director.
Why?
Because every production in my head is different, and it's not like a movie will be good because of one person. And so each crew member makes the film. And so I need to judge a movie based on the film itself and not because of the name that it's attached to. But
don't you think that because the name is attached to, you link it to a certain idea? So if you go to a Guy Ritchie movie, you know exactly what you're in for. If you go to a Christopher Nolan movie, you know there's something weird going on. If you go to, say, Russo Brothers type of movie, you know there's something a little bit more deep going on. So doesn't
Yeah.
that play into it when you decide which movie you go to?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it definitely influences which movies I go to, but I'm not going to say it's good because it has the name attached.
Oh, but it's not bad. It's like every
Well,
time
I mean, I watched Tenet and I was,
you watched Tenet.
yeah.
You didn't like it?
Didn't like it.
Why?
I got bored.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I got bored, but I just wasn't,
Did you get bored or get lost?
probably got lost, but also I just like,
You disconnected.
yeah, the connection thing is the main thing for me.
Okay.
You can have this really cool idea, but if you can't take someone on a journey and it's just like reading a document, then like, what's the point? That's my main issue with Christopher Nolan movies is there's a lot of exposition.
Okay.
You'll have like Michael Caine just like there saying, oh, this is the whole thing. You need to do all this stuff.
But isn't Tenet as well?
Yeah, exactly. That's the most boring scene I've ever watched.
It was so confusing.
Yeah.
I was watching it. I was like, when did he come in?
Like,
yeah.
I might as well just read the script. Like, it's
Well, even if you read the script, it wouldn't make sense.
yeah. Like,
Did you manage to finish the whole thing?
I did finish the whole thing, and then I read like some posts explaining it afterwards. Because like, if you have to do that to a movie, I feel like there's an issue with it.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you have to like go deep into the meaning of the movie, there's an issue with the movie.
Yeah.
Why?
I feel like a movie should be self-contained, and you should be able to follow a journey throughout the whole thing. It shouldn't be like you need this prior knowledge for it, or you need to understand how everything works. That's kind of like my problem with Marvel movies at the moment. I used to be on that Marvel bandwagon in high school, and
Was that before Endgame or after?
so just after Endgame,
Just
I was
after.
like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I guess because that was like a big
It was a
finale
big
thing.
finale, yeah. That's when most people departed.
Yeah.
And that's when they should have probably switched route with where they go with their movies, but they haven't. I think that after Endgame, they could have done something good, and they didn't. They didn't take the hype of the Endgame, and they didn't finish off Endgame properly, in my opinion. In my opinion, Endgame was a bad movie, in my opinion. I liked the first part, Infinity War, more because Endgame was just, in my opinion, here's the scenes of all prior movies, and we're gonna stick them together, reenact them, and we're gonna give you the plot. And the plot is basically these guys are gonna save the day at the end of the day because they're gonna go back in time and dismantle everything that this big giant purple guy did. And I absolutely hate that. I hate when villains get absolutely, you know.
Yeah. No, exactly. And
I hate it. I just don't like a villain go through all the effort and they end up being shafted just because the heroes went back in time or did something so miserable, you know?
yeah, I need that suspension of will they win or not. But I think
But they could
going
lose.
yeah,
Why don't they just lose? Why don't they accept defeat?
exactly. That's why I like Infinity War better.
Exactly. He won.
Yeah, but then like there's no permanence to that because they just come back.
They're going to come back. Yeah.
So I want to know that there's some uncertainty about will they win or not because that's what you want, the hero's journey.
But you do comedy, right?
I do, yes.
How do you do that with comedy?
I mean, you have like all styles of comedy. You have like black comedy, which is like super dark and like playing on those themes. It doesn't have to be always funny all the time. The thing about genre is that we do come in with certain expectations about what we're going to watch. I think, I forgot who said it, but the difference between comedy has a good ending and then if it doesn't, then it's a tragedy.
Probably John Cain in one of them bizarre Nolan movies.
Whatever. I feel like it was like Aristotle or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he wasn't definitely talking about movies, wasn't he?
No, not movies, but
Yeah.
just like in general comedy.
No, I think I've seen that, yeah. So, you do, is it satire comedy?
Yeah, I've been like grappling with the idea of like, what do I do? What is my comedy?
Okay.
And I think I don't know if there's like one word to describe it, but I do like focusing on a bit of absurdism, so pushing real life to the max, but also highlighting the little quirks of reality. And so I think real life is funny if you just look for it. So I just want to highlight those things in my movies. That I'm doing that at the moment with my film that we're producing at the moment called Dress to Impress.
Yes.
Not sure if you checked that one out.
I've seen the trailer. Oh, not the trailer,
yes.
the...
My crowdfunding
yeah,
video.
Yeah. So why don't you tell people about that?
Yeah, so Dress to Impress is a comedy short film about a guy who works at a costume shop and he discovers that the costumes give him superpowers. So like a clown costume that he puts on makes him funnier. And so he tries to use them to impress this girl that he's working with.
Okay.
And it's about like self-acceptance and identity as well. So we have these like underlying serious themes throughout comedy, but I feel like comedy is a good way to express these without being too preachy, without being too like, this is what you need to think about.
So is it just flat out comedy, or does it like have sort of a deeper meaning?
Yeah, it's...
Because it's got a story to it. Like at its core, this guy does want to achieve something that's human.
Yeah.
But he's doing something unhuman. Or not unhuman, it's a little bit absurd, you know, putting on a costume and then you end up, being the persona of that costume.
Yeah.
Because what if he puts on a Nazi costume? What happens then?
I feel like he wouldn't put that on.
That's a scene idea for you.
Yeah,
I'd love
I feel
credit.
like-
Thank you very much.
If he's trying to impress this girl, he's not going to put that on.
What if he's trying to impress art school?
You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it also like it's, I guess it's classified as a rom-com
Oh, yeah.
because like it's like the relationship between him and this co-worker that he's working with.
Well, rom-com was popular in the early, or not, 2010s, yeah? Or is it still
I
popular
think
till
so,
now?
yeah. It's like, yeah, kind of,
It's kind of like The
Not
Office
super- yeah.
type vibes.
like a sitcom.
Oh,
you
that's a
think about
sitcom.
it. Yeah.
Then what's a popular rom-com right now?
Honestly, I don't know because I don't watch too many rom-coms.
Maybe because they suck.
I don't know if they suck. They're just a lot of formulaic things and a lot of it like a lot of them prioritize romance over comedy.
Oh,
And so my thing is I want romance to be kind of just underlying, but the main thing is comedy, and that romance can actually fuel the comedy
Okay.
in some ways. So
Oh,
I use their
yeah.
relationship to like add comedy to
yeah,
the
yeah,
film.
yeah. No, I think The Office did have some type of rom-com dynamic in it with Pam and
Jim and Pam,
Jim, yeah. So it's like kind of a rom-com inside a sitcom. That's kind of smart
Yeah.
if you think about it.
I think, yeah, definitely a TV show, you have more flexibility because you have more screen time to be able to explore different storylines.
So with this short film you're making, is it short film or is it like long
It's
form?
a short film. Yeah.
How short?
Probably be like 10 to 15 minutes.
And what's your budget?
Our budget is about $3,000.
Okay.
So we were super lucky. Shout out to ABC Costumes in Knox because they let us use their store for free.
Nice.
And it's a really cool store. It's got like heaps of costumes in there.
Beautiful.
So we're still actually crowdfunding at the moment. And actually next week we've got a fundraising event. So we're doing it like a trivia night.
Where are you doing the event?
So the event is at the Monash Hotel. So we're doing like a bit of trivia there. We'll have like a silent auction, some raffles as well.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's actually smart. What
Yeah.
day is it? Because if I have time, I might pull up.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, beautiful, bro. Of course.
It's Thursday. So next Thursday at 7.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Well, that sounds exciting because I like short films. And I think I saw you listed on one short film. It's called Teach Me How to Cry. What's your role in that? Because it doesn't really say that you've directed it, no?
No, so I wasn't that big on that one.
Okay.
But it was a previous graduate film. So the year above me, some of the guys, it was produced by One House, which is a production company started by these 4 boys from my uni.
Yep.
And they were running it throughout studying uni, which is insane. But so that was one of the graduate films I was working on. It stars Lockie Hume, who's like relatively big actor.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
I think, yeah, he was on The Matrix,
Yeah.
and like right after the shoot, he was like, okay, I gotta go catch a plane. I'm gonna go on the next
Jesus.
Mad Max.
Jesus.
And we were like, okay.
Yeah.
But no, I was just the best person on there.
Did you do it for free or did you
So-
like get paid?
No, so we do it for free. Like a lot of the student films, you do it for free, and it's like not only because it's a passion project, but also because you want something for your show. Really, you want to show something. You
No, I
wanna
mean Jackie. Do you do it for free as well? Or do
sorry.
you pay your actors as well?
for mine, yeah, we do pay actors definitely not industry rates because we can't afford that.
Yeah.
But like a little honorarium, just a little bit of money.
Dude, it's better than whatever Hollywood is paying right now.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
this stage.
they're not paying anyone because no one's working.
Yeah, but what's their deal with that? I haven't tapped too deep into it. Why are they on strike?
Yeah, I haven't looked into it that much either. But it's just the Hollywood system is not the best. I think a lot of actors are underpaid. A lot of actors, it's always just like, I can do better than this person. Someone will like step on someone else to be able to get better. And there's just like a lot of actors who are just like getting severely underpaid, and you've got these big executives who are producing like Marvel, the big blockbusters that are just like racking in all the millions.
Dude, but I think it's getting to a point where you watch a movie with the same actor like 5 times. It's like, how many times do I want to watch Timothée Chalamet on my screen? I'm getting bored of it. I'm getting sick of it. I love Timothy, but like, come on, man.
Or like
Wonka.
The Rock.
Or like The Rock. But The Rock is like, he's got like one specific character that he does good.
Yeah,
And
The
apart
Rock
from
plays
that,
The Rock, and that's it.
yeah, that's about it. I saw something about, Mej was showing me the other day about God of War and him being the whole Kratos role. I don't know about that. Have you played God of War?
No, I haven't.
You should. It's a very good game. It's not a very good role for The Rock. I'm sorry, Dwayne. I'm really sorry.
But like, I was watching a little video about Fast and Furious, and
Yeah.
like
The new one.
and
Yeah.
like The Rock. I forgot the other muscly bald guys in there.
Jason Statham.
And
I
then,
love Jason Statham, man.
someone else, I can't remember, but like
Yeah.
the 3 of them have in their contracts apparently that they can't lose a fight. So apparently,
Oh yeah.
so like apparently in like
Yeah.
I haven't seen Fast and Furious, but
Yeah.
apparently like in all the films they haven't
Lost a fight.
lost
yeah.
a fight,
Yeah, because they don't want to like portray that
Yeah.
character.
which
But
is so stupid.
it's just absurd. It's part of your character. It's
Yeah.
part of your. It's not you. It's not you that's being beat up. It's the character.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Again, going back into like the suspension of disbelief, or like that idea, like, oh, will they or won't they succeed? And I feel like that's so much more powerful than going to a film knowing that they're going to win, because there's no tension between there.
I think only Guy Ritchie pulls it off well. If you've seen his movies, the good guy always wins. It's always that, and it's always Jason Statham, and he's always gotta like kill 70 people to get to what he wants, and he always ends up with a Russian supermodel, and he's always a double spy. But it's because it's action, and there's some element of suspense to it, but the action overtakes to a point where it overstimulates your brain, and you kind of forget about the suspension in it, and so it's just action, and then you're kind of you immerse yourself into the world of it, and you kind of become the character that Guy Ritchie is portraying. So whenever you watch a Guy Ritchie movie and you walk out, you're like, shit, man, he's a fucking man, all right? He's a man. But yeah, not many guys can pull it off like Guy Ritchie. That's why I love his movies. And it's always me and my dad with a glass of whiskey watching Jason Statham and going, yeah, he's a man, bro.
I mean, if you're coming into a film knowing what it is and it's a big action film, you're just there to watch like action, then yeah, for sure, go ahead. But I prefer movies that I can actually like empathize with the characters, and they can take me on the journey, because I think we're heading towards more visual stimulus rather than quality storytelling.
Oh, with CGI and whatnot.
Not exactly that, just because like if we go, and this is kind of what I learned in my film school, so if we go back a little history lesson, back in the early days of film, where they have just like, it was at like fairgrounds, and it was just like a little box that you look into and you can see moving images.
Charlie Chaplin days, or before that?
Before that. Before movie was like an actual thing.
Okay,
before it was just like a little invention that someone made.
Yeah.
That people could just like look into a box and see moving images, and they thought that was really cool. And it was just about like the spectacle of looking at moving images, like that. One of the first films of people in the cinema and they watched a train come in. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but
I think I've seen something similar. I think I've seen something with a man riding on a horse.
yeah, potentially.
Yeah, that was probably the first moving image film.
I think train arrives into station was the first one.
Okay.
And that's just like literally a train arriving into the station. But the whole crowd was just like shocked because they thought they were going to get run over by a train because they didn't realize.
Yeah.
And it's, so it's about, in the early days, just like, look at these cool pictures, look how everything moves. And then it translated into like stories and how do we develop and how do we take characters on a journey. And cutting is such a big thing because our brain now just like doesn't even think about when you cut between a character to another character. It's not like, oh, I noticed that cut. Whereas like in the beginning, like cutting between different shots, people like were super aware of that.
Because it was rough.
Yeah. But not even rough, just like our brain has like been adjusted.
Yeah, they're not used to it yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But imagine, they kind of treated it like Neanderthals, no? It's like if you show a Neanderthal something, they've never seen it before. But that's interesting, because like, when was the first movie? Something around 1904, maybe, 05?
Yeah,
or way
maybe
before.
slightly earlier.
Yeah, a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Would have been, for sure. And that's like, how many years after Neanderthals? And they still reacted the same way Neanderthal would have reacted.
I mean, like, that's like any new thing. People are like, whoa.
You think?
I think.
Is that what's happening with the Apple goggles?
Exactly. I was going to say, it's like, whoa, these are so cool.
Yeah. But they're kind of scary, don't you think?
They are terrifying.
I saw something that was kind of creepy a little bit. They have a shot in that short trailer where the guy is sitting and he's wearing his goggles and he's going through the photos, and he's going through the photos with his daughters, right? And the first thing that clicked into my head, what if his daughters were dead? Right? And you're just going through all these memories, and it could lead to like really dark places. And if someone has lost a loved one, they could get hung up on that, and they have this just one memory replaying in their heads every day. And it's like kind of a Black Mirror episode.
And like, what if we're in a simulation right now?
What if you are in a simulation?
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Simulation theory is really cool, and I do like thinking about that stuff.
Is it because of Elon popularizing it, or?
No, I just like thinking about existential things like that.
That's nice.
Yeah, casually.
Me too. Don't worry, brother.
But like, Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about this on like a podcast. And
well, he talks about a lot of things.
He does talk about a lot of things.
I always read the comments and they go, "Someone needs to tell this man to shut up." No, it's great.
But like, there's a lot of stuff he talks about. But this is like really interesting because there's 3 possibilities that can happen. Either we don't develop the technology to create a simulation, or we do, and like it's not part of us now, but like we do in the future, or we already have created a simulation and we're in it right now. And within that simulation, you can have a whole life where you can also develop a simulation within there. And you have simulations within simulations within simulations infinite times. And so you have like the base reality, and then you have all the simulations. So the odds of you being in the base reality is like significantly low.
To none, 0 to none.
So the conclusion is that you're most likely in a simulation.
Inside a simulation?
Yeah.
Inside a simulation?
Possibly.
That's like playing a video game, and the video game character you're playing with is playing a video game.
Yeah.
That's playing a video game.
I always think about that Rick and Morty episode, if you've seen it.
Which one?
I can't remember what it's called, but he's like playing in
I've
a
seen
simulation.
it all. I've seen all of Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Whatever that simulation episode is, when he's like playing that game.
I think I remember. Well, they're always doing something absurd with Rick and Morty. It's cool. It's a cool show. I like it. But I don't think they're coming back now, are they?
No. I mean, I like the early stuff, and now the later seasons, I felt like it just got too meta.
What do you mean?
It got too like, I know that I'm in a show, and like we're gonna break the fourth wall too many times.
Yeah, they did it too many times, didn't they?
Yeah. Like, I think you can be a little bit cerebral, I guess, or whatever, but like being too much is just like showing off that like, oh, I'm better than you. I know this stuff. So
How many times can you break the fourth wall until it becomes boring?
I don't think there's a limit. I think it's just about how you act on that.
Okay.
So like, I know that like House of Cards did it like a lot, but it's not like, look at me, I'm so cool, I'm breaking the fourth wall. It's just like, this is a technique that we're using to tell a story.
Okay.
And again, I'm
So
always
only
coming
done
back
when
to
necessary.
stories. Yeah.
Okay. But what's necessary?
And that is up to the director. That's up to whoever's making the film.
Have you ever done it so far?
I have never broken the fourth wall, but I do like using the camera to its full potential. So there's a lot of comedies out there that I feel like are just pretty much a drama with comedy.
Like what?
Most comedy films. I can't think of one at the moment.
Jumanji, maybe?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a drama.
I get inspiration from directors like Edgar Wright,
Okay.
who uses camera motion as a like motivation and as a mode of comedy. So it's not just the actors who are expressing comedy. It's not about just like plonk a camera there and let the actors say their comedic lines. It's about how do we enhance the comedy through editing and cutting and camera movement. And I'm such a big supporter of that.
That's cool. I think the actors carry the heavy load, though, when it comes to comedy. Because if you have someone that's just unfunny, it's not going to work. But if you have someone that's a little bit more playful, a little bit more, I would say, it's not liquefied. That's not the word I'm looking for. But he immerses into the role. Like he's just built for it. He's the guy for it. And so, you know, Kevin Hart, yeah. Kevin Hart, I don't know. Kevin Hart is funny, but like some of the movies he's done, they're just, I don't know.
I feel like he plays the same little angry man.
Angry short man.
Yeah, probably hate that if he's listening. But if he's listening, you know, far-fetched.
Hey, if he's listening,
If he's
that's pretty
listening, yeah. We love you, Kevin, man. No, but like, yeah, it is. That's what I was talking about just earlier now with Hollywood repeating the same kind of characters for the same kind of, so not the same characters, the same actors for different roles. It gets repetitive and people grow out of it. That's why smaller production companies had the chance to come up, and not so small right now. A24 was at some point smaller. Right now they're huge. They're making great movies. Have you watched any of the A24 movies?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna blank. But was Parasite an A24 movie?
Which one?
Parasite.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
Parasite.
I've watched.
Lighthouse. Lighthouse was a
I
A24.
haven't seen Lighthouse.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful because it's shot in. It wasn't monochrome.
yeah. I know it is black and white, but I don't know if
Yes.
it's actually shot in black and white.
It is shot in black and white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it is shot in black and white. But I think that the thing with Lighthouse, it didn't. I think it was one take. Didn't have like that many cuts, right? And I know like there's no one take really, but like I think they tried to do as less of a cuts as possible, and it was very beautiful because like this movie only takes like 3-4 characters,
Yeah.
and it's very short and it's very straight to the point. I don't know if you will enjoy it though, because you said something about having the characters go on a journey. The characters do go on a journey, but it's a little bit more deep.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to watch a YouTube video breaking down the
Yeah.
movie afterwards.
I mean, yeah. When I say journey, I don't necessarily mean like this big adventure, but like it could be an emotional journey as well. That's still a thing, or just like some development throughout.
It's a
the
huge
film.
one. These
Yeah.
guys are literally just one old head that's gone to shits because he's been in the lighthouse for like this many years, and a new guy coming into the business, just having it at each other. And it's Willem Dafoe. Like you can't go
Yeah.
wrong with a Willem Dafoe movie. I think he's probably the best Spider-Man villain of all time, in my opinion. And even Robert Pattinson. People hated him when he got selected for the Batman role. But as soon as people said Robert Pattinson, I knew it was going to be a banger. Did you watch it?
Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't watch it when it first came out, but I
Okay.
did watch it afterwards.
So you missed out
and
on the movies, on the cinema experience.
So yeah, no, I watched it at home. But
Sorry, man.
I mean, it's it's probably a controversial take, but I didn't think it was that good.
You didn't think it was good?
Nah,
Why?
like it was okay, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like there was enough empathy or moments that I could attach to the character. And also like the relationship with Catwoman just felt like an add-on. It felt like
unnecessary.
yeah, it was just, and like I didn't feel like there was any progression to that relationship. It was just like she's not there and now they're together. I want to actually like, if you're taking me on this journey, whether that be an actual physical journey or emotional journey, and I'm empathizing with the main character, I want to know how they're feeling throughout the whole thing. I want that to show me, and I want everything to make sense. It can't just pop out of nowhere.
Do you think the whole thing with Catwoman popped out of nowhere?
It just didn't, it felt like rushed.
What do you mean?
It felt like there was just no relationship, and then there was a relationship there, but we didn't have any hints, or we didn't see anything there.
I don't think it was built on anything emotional, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, it's a year 1, year 2 Batman. Was it? He was early on.
So, yeah.
He was like year 2, and so you wouldn't think that he knows any better with his choice in women. And
Yeah.
after all, it's Bruce Wayne. He's a sad little boy. He knows nothing about romance. But I think it's a little bit more like, oh, it's Zoe Gravis. She looks cool, you know.
Yeah.
Why not get him into a relationship with her and then end up not working out because he's Batman?
But I don't know. It felt like if you're going for this relationship thing, you need to actually build that a bit. Even people who don't like think about that stuff too much, I feel like it needs to like show that he wants a relationship with her and not just it's like a one-off.
But I don't think he did. Do you think he did?
It seemed like they wanted us to feel like that he did.
Alfred doesn't die in the movie, does he?
I don't. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't, because he does get into a scene where he's bombed.
Yeah, honestly.
Because I was gonna say, if Alfred does die in the movie, maybe it's a part of the story that he wants to feel the sense of belonging to someone because he has no one, and that could make more sense. And so he's just desperate enough to be with anyone.
Yeah, I mean, you can always like justify these things,
You
but
could,
I want to see that on screen. I want to know that.
But that would have been a much longer movie.
Yeah.
It was already like 3 hours.
But like, I'd rather watch a longer, better movie than a shorter,
Would
bad
you?
movie.
Would you rather like watch a 5-hour Batman movie?
I mean, probably not a Batman movie, but if it's, I'd rather watch that than a 3-hour bad movie.
Poor Hans Zimmer. Has to make a 5-hour soundtrack. But what, the movie was 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
What would the director cut be? Because it has to be longer.
Yeah. I mean, it was a while since I've seen this film, so I can't remember heaps, but...
But is it always longer, or is it like sometimes similar to what the people actually get to see?
I mean, not every director wants to do a director's cut, but it just depends on what you think it needs to be. Sometimes it might be, oh, this movie's too long and these scenes I don't need, I'll cut them.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, oh, this is my favorite scene, I can't believe we cut that.
Yeah. But if you would pick a scene out of that movie,
Yeah.
what would it be?
Take
Your
it out.
favorite, yeah. No.
Oh.
Your favorite one.
Oh. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Like, it wasn't that memorable for me.
Jesus
to be
Christ, you're really hating on this movie right now.
I'm not hating on it.
Who was it directed by? Reeves? Matt Reeves? Yeah, Matt Reeves. Yeah. For me, he did a good job. Because he put that Hellcat into the movie, the Dodge Challenger, and that cuts it for me. If it's Batman driving a Hellcat, I'm watching. So that's probably why my favorite scene would have been the chase with Penguin.
Yeah, you're an action man, I feel.
Yeah. Big time. But like I enjoy like deep movies as well. So the Christopher Nolan movies, they're all right for me. I'd say have you seen the last movie by DreamWorks with the cat? What's it called? Puss in Boots?
I did watch it recently,
Yeah, what do you think of it?
It was good the way that they told it,
Yeah.
but I feel like they could have done more with the story. It felt like formulaic.
What would you categorize it? Was it action?
like
A little bit.
fantasy.
Like, fantasy, adventure.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's got a little bit of action to it, no?
yeah.
A little bit.
I mean, yeah.
Because that's one of my favorite movies in the last 3 months.
Oh,
so I'm
really?
trying to justify how I'm not an action guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's an action movie.
No.
But yeah,
That's pretty good.
It's a family movie. I'd
Family
say.
movie, yeah. That was very good. It's a very nice movie.
Yeah.
Me and him ended up dancing at the credits because it had a really good banger for Latin music. Yeah, it's very good. I think the way they portrayed death was very good.
That was really
I
cool.
like symbolism in movies.
One of the coolest villains ever.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's played by
One guy.
yeah, what's his name? The actor. The actor for Narcos.
I'm so
Oh,
bad
what
with
the-
names.
Let me search it up.
Yeah, he's the same actor for Pablo Escobar. Have you seen Narcos?
I like for a film student, I've seen like
So
sadly
little, bro.
little stuff.
The wolf is Wagner Mora.
Yeah, Wagner Mora.
Okay.
He's so good, bro. You should watch his work. He's very good. He's also like kind of a director too. So that's why Narcos was so immersive because he didn't only play the character of Pablo. He actually like got on the writing team and got on the directing team and he got involved into it and he kind of made it his, especially the scenes that he was in. And that's why Narcos is so rated by people because they like it because yeah, he kind of made it his. And
Yeah,
so
you
if
have
you
like
ask,
a deeper understanding of
yeah,
everything.
yeah. He didn't go all the way in with coke and whatnot, but yeah, would have been interesting if he
Method
did.
acting.
Method acting. How far do you think people can take that? Like, do you think the whole Heath Ledger thing was method acting taken so far?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm in the position to comment on that too much because I don't know heaps about it.
Okay.
But in terms of method acting, I don't know if I fully support it because
Oh, why?
you never see people method acting for good characters. You always see method actors for bad characters.
You mean villains?
Yeah,
Is that what you
or
mean by
like
that?
for bad behavior. It's like, oh, I'm not normally this person, but I'm just method acting. But it's never like, oh, here's some money, or I'm donating, or I'm doing good stuff because I'm method acting.
Yeah, but like, how are you gonna get a drug dealer to act in Narcos? Right? You like have to get an actual drug dealer for the method acting not to be in it.
I mean, that's why I don't think you need to method act.
What do you do then?
What? You do research, and you're always actors are like professional pretenders.
Okay,
So,
but it's
that's
gotta
their
be
job.
hard playing a character like, say, the Joker
Yeah.
in
I
that
think-
Nolan movie.
If you can get into the headspace, it's important. But like, I think there should be a divide between.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thanks.
I think there should be a divide between the film and being on set and real life. Because if you don't, then where does the character end? Are you always playing the character, or is the character playing you?
Well, some people do.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people do always play the character. I've seen that with, I don't know if I believe it or not, but with The Weeknd, when he was performing the Vegas show. Was it Vegas? Yeah, Vegas. And his voice cut out on stage. I don't know if you've seen the video. He's performing and he's immediately gone, "Ugh," and he had to cancel the show. And later on in an interview when they asked him, he said that I've been too much into the role of Ted Ross in The Idol, and the character can't sing, right? And he's just playing this character that's struggling to become a singer, but he can't do it.
Yeah.
And so he feels like that kind of merged into his show, and that's why he kind of fell out. Do you believe that?
Just from hearing you talk about it, like,
Yeah.
not really.
Not really.
I do get that, like, if you're in a similar position and like environment, that you might, your brain like instinctively forgets about that stuff.
Because there's some muscle memory, no?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I've definitely seen it, especially with MMA fighters and whatnot. I've seen a video last night, I think. This guy got knocked out cold, and he's on the floor, right? And his muscle memory kicked in, and he grabbed the referee's leg, and he
saw
put
that,
him in
yeah.
a leg hold, and he's already tapping, and he doesn't know what's going on. But it's interesting that people act like that. It's like a fish, and you take it out of the water, and it doesn't know what it's doing. It's just,
Yeah, like I teach piano on the side as well.
oh, you do.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so multifaceted, man.
So I always talk about muscle memory to my students, and like I know a lot of them, if they haven't played, like we're just going back from school holidays at the moment, so a lot of them are like, oh, I can't remember this piece. And I just tell them to like have a little read, start trying to play the start, and your muscle memory will kick in. You'll remember these parts. So yeah, your body is crazy like that.
How long have you been teaching piano for?
When I started uni, so like 4 years now. But I've been playing piano since I was in prep. So
Did you get forced into it?
I don't know if forced is the right word. More like my parents signed me up for piano lessons, if that's what forced is.
That's a different way of saying it.
But then, like, I obviously like piano now because I teach piano.
Yeah.
So there was one point where I did consider stopping, and it all depends on your teacher. So in like year 7, 8 in high school, there was, I just didn't have the most motivating teacher because it was all about the exam and it's all about doing the best you can to get the best grades. And that was never for me. That's never how I like to teach now as well. It's always about, for me, teaching for passion, teaching to get inspired by music, and that learning will come from them instead of the other way around.
So you don't really believe in a grading system?
Not necessarily. I think that the things that you learn in the exams are good, but always preparing for an exam is the worst way to teach. And that doesn't just apply for music, that applies for schooling in general. My problem is that a lot of students are taught, especially in private schools, to learn for the exam and not learn just for learning.
Okay.
And learning is so important because I think that is the one thing that we have as humans. It is to learn. When we are born, we're born with basically no skills. And we learn these things. And I think throughout our lives, you need to just constantly be learning instead of like trying to reach every single goal.
That's interesting, bro. Actually, do you mind pushing the mic a little bit closer to your mouth?
Yeah, no worries.
Just helps me better with post-production.
Yeah, cool.
Now that's kind of similar to what I was talking about to an artist the other day. She also doesn't believe in a grading system because she teaches art to people. And because I was telling her about when I got discouraged doing art when I was little. I mean, I used to get my scores, and I used to get like 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, and it kind of pushed me away from art. And so learning through experience is definitely probably better.
Yeah.
Now looking back at it, 100% better. And that's kind of like why I don't like unis so much. It's like you do something and they give you a grade, and it's like, well, it's a grade. It doesn't really tell me if I'm good or bad at it, right?
And it's like so subjective as well, especially for like creative things like art and film, music. It's all about
taste.
Like you'll have your technical skills, which you can get improve on, but like art is about expressing yourself, and you can't be graded on how you express yourself, I think.
Okay. Would you still do what you do if you only had like 2-3 people appreciating it?
Yeah, like I do photography on the side, and I just like it. It's not for anything. It's not for people to say, oh, wow, your photos are cool.
Okay.
It's not about to get those awards or...
But how important is that, doing something that you do even though you don't have a big audience for it, just because you like it?
I think it's super important. I think you need for me, I need a creative outlet. And whether that's photography or filmmaking, I'm always going to do it whether or not people appreciate it. But also at the same time, you need a way to make money. You need to survive.
Sure.
So...
Can't you build into that?
Yeah, I think it's always important to have one thing as a hobby, keep it as a hobby, and one thing as your job. Okay. Because if you don't have that hobby on the side, you'll always feel like you're working. And so you want to do something just for yourself, and you don't want to always have to be making something for other people.
And so you don't believe in making your hobby into a job?
I believe making filmmaking and film and TV into my job, but also having things on the side like, photography or something like it's.
So it could be more
related.
than one hobby.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have 2 hobbies, make one a job and then keep one as a hobby.
That's interesting. That's nice. I don't think a lot of people subscribe to that idea, especially today's age. They just do whatever.
Yeah.
They have their 9 to 5 and they're content with that, even though they say they're happy. Would you ever do a 9 to 5?
Yeah, I think I do like the structure of like being able to go into work and have your stuff, and then do things afterwards on the side.
What's the 9 to 5 in filmmaking?
Yeah, so that's why I'm not a massive fan of going into like Hollywood or being on big sets like that.
Oh, is that 9 to 5?
Because that's not 9 to 5.
That's not, okay.
That's just a lot of freelance stuff. That's a lot of just like people will call you up and say, hey, I've got a job. Can you work every day for the next 3 weeks or something?
Okay.
And I'd rather just go into like a production company, a little small production company where we do small things like interviews or little ads, and it'll be like maybe 9 to 5 or whatever. But then I can still distance myself from my work and home life.
So you would never go to Hollywood?
I don't think so. I don't.
Don't
It's
you
not
think-
really my thing anymore.
No? You
No.
grew out of it?
Yeah, I think like I was saying before, first year uni, like everyone has the aspirations to be like big time director in Hollywood, but yeah, I don't have that drive, that passion to always be constantly thinking about my film. Like even working on uni projects, it's not a 9 to 5 thing. It's just like you're always constantly on set or thinking about your next project, or the night after being on set, you're thinking, okay, what do I need to do? What things do I need to prepare for the next day? And I'd rather be able to just turn off and then turn back on.
How would you give an advice for someone trying to do that? Oh, sorry, trying to do a play. Because I'm trying to write a play right now, right? And now you're talking about it. I see myself being on set pretty much every day, but I can't do that. Like, I've only got 1 day per week. What's the best approach to do that?
I think if you know how much time you can commit, just stick with that. Don't try to overcommit because your work will be affected if you do. Doesn't matter how long you take, as long as you can make a better product that takes slower to make is much better than a bad project that takes like half the time or whatever.
Have you ever done a play?
I've never done a play, no.
You interested?
You trying to groom me?
I'm telling you, bro. I've got all my offers on the table. We started before the podcast. I gave you a couple of offers, and now I'm giving you more. But yeah, I'm writing a play, but I've got no clue. I've never written a play before.
Like a stage play?
Stage play. Yeah, it's a tragedy, and so it's like about 40 minutes, 4 acts. I've already like gotten my script,
Oh yeah.
but I haven't written my acts. Oh, sorry, not my acts. Not my script. I've got my screenplay or whatever. Like, I've got the plot, but I haven't gotten the script. If that makes sense.
Have you shown it to anyone yet?
Yeah. We've had it for a year now. Like I've sat on it for a year because I knew like I'm not gonna put something out that's rushed, and so we made it, and I put it for a year, and after a year the idea is still there, and so like, all right, screw it, we're gonna go with it because if we've believed in it for a year, then it's probably worth doing.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right.
I think I don't know who else does that, but yeah, like putting it away and then coming back, and if you still think it's a good idea, I think go with it.
Yeah. But what's the advice to start writing?
For me, I am a like big picture person, and I'm always about like, this is a cool concept, but how do we make it into an idea? So I have my writing buddy Sarah. She was also on my production at the moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, she helped me write my film, and it's always like you got to find someone who you can bounce off. It's hard because you can't just instantly grab someone and say, okay, you're my writing buddy and you'll work perfectly. But it's just like this idea of like bouncing ideas, and that's why you have writers' rooms, because you have people who have lots of ideas, and someone might get stuck on one idea, and if you don't have other people saying, okay, outside sources saying, okay, maybe we should do something else, you'll get stuck on an idea that might not be appreciated by everyone. And it really depends on what you're making it for, because if you're making art or film or whatever, or a screenplay for just yourself, then for sure you can just write for yourself. But if you're writing for an audience, then you need to think about how the audience will react.
Yeah. Well, we're thinking about presenting it to about 400 people, 500 people. So, yeah, definitely it comes into that. Whenever I show it to the people that I've showed it to, they always come into the conversation with the idea of you got to think about what the people are going to think. And I kind of underestimate that because I always think that, I've got this idea in my head and I don't really subscribe to the idea of how are they going to react to it.
Yeah.
But do you think that's more important?
Yeah, it depends on.
Like, do you want
what
to
type
cater
of
for
writer
them
you
or do you
are.
want to cater for you?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
It's for me, it's catering to the audience. My thing is not just to make something for myself, but it's to make an entertaining product for the wider.
But how do you do that while keeping your idea at core?
It's about thinking about big picture stuff. So you might have your main idea, and I think it's important to hold on to that. That's like your job as the director to make sure that the core values and themes and idea runs throughout the entire piece. But you can't be too precious with little minor details. You need to always think about what's the main thing that I'm trying to communicate, and any other things are just kind of elements that you put on top.
I'll probably think about it now. Yeah, because I haven't written the script yet. And now thinking about it, I got an idea the other day. Not an idea, like I was thinking about it the other day. Do you think we'll get to a point where AI is just writing our scripts for us? Or do you think writing as a human will still be more superior to writing from an AI?
For sure, I think writing for humans is much better. I don't think AI can take that away from us.
Why not?
AI
It's getting pretty advanced.
cannot be creative.
Oh,
AI basically is taking existing works and making something out of it, but it doesn't have its own experience. It doesn't have new things that come into it. And so our role as humans is not necessarily to be able to write the entire screenplay by ourselves. Like, sure, AI might be able to help with certain things, but we have our own experiences that we can bring into our projects.
yeah. But didn't an AI photo win an award over like other photographers last year?
I hope not.
No, it
but
did. It did. Yeah. Could you search that up, Maj? I think some guy submitted an AI generated photo either this year or last year to an award competition, and the criteria didn't really have no AI in it, but it's just like photo taken and whatnot. And it's very creative, and he actually ended up winning.
Yeah,
And then revealed it later. Like
Yeah.
when he was accepting the prize, he's like, guys, this is just flat out AI, I'm not going to accept it. And they gave it to someone else.
I mean, yeah, it depends on, again, the grading system. Are you making something for it to be graded, or are you making something for other people to experience? Because I don't think you necessarily need to make something to win the biggest awards. Doesn't need to be the most critically acclaimed thing. If you can affect one person with your art or film or whatever, I feel like that's much more powerful than being able to show how many stars you got for it.
Oh, do you think that's how they graded it?
I think they graded it based on technical things.
Oh, yeah?
Because, yeah, AI can replicate technical things. Like
It would do it
crazy.
to perfection, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, AI isn't fully automated. Like, you need to, as a human, put in prompts. You need to bring in your own things. So...
Oh, did you find it? Or is that the photo? Yeah, that is the photo, yeah. So it's
that's completely AI.
That's completely AI. Yeah. What award did he win?
Photographer Wednesday, AI, Sony Award, photography.
Sony Awards. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's a very good idea.
And that's the guy.
Was he old?
Yeah.
Oh, he's an old head. He tricked everyone. Smart guy. But it's a very good photo.
But yeah, I mean, again, it's not like the guy just pressed the create AI photo button and made it. He had an idea.
He had an idea and
he
he prompted
executed that.
Yeah.
So AI is not going to take over everything.
No. But there's some emotion into it, which is interesting. Like they've had to be touched one way or another.
Yeah.
More than the other photos. And that's kind of the danger that lies into it, because what if AI gets to a point where it can replicate empathy?
Yeah, that's
That's a little bit
that's
dangerous.
scary. That's
That
like
is
the
scary.
Turing test.
The what?
The Turing test developed by Alan Turing.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's like, can you create an authentic AI
yeah.
that people will mistake for an actual human?
Isn't that what Blade Runner was all about?
I think so. Again, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it either, but I've read
Yeah.
the book. It's a Philip K. Dick book. It's called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? So it's basically this company that is dishing out AIs, and they're really androids, they're humanoid robots, and they've gotten to Nexus 5 and they've put out Nexus 6, and Nexus 6 can't really sense empathy, and so the bounty hunters that are trying to take them down run them on a test called Void Camp test, and so they put them through scenarios, and it's like the scenarios are already absurd. It's like they ask them questions, and if they flicker their eyes or whatnot, they get an emotional reaction out of them. They're likely to be, human and not robots. But it's very interesting because it gets to a point where the AI starts feeling empathy for itself because they want to live, they want to become human. It's a very deep book. I really recommend you read it. It's very short as well. It's like 21 chapters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's what inspired Blade Runner. Sorry,
Yeah.
and I want to go watch it. They've put an ad for it the other day. Have you seen those movies where they play live and there's a live orchestra playing underneath them?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to go see. There was a Into the Spider-Verse
Yes.
one coming out. I want to go see that because that looks sick.
You haven't watched it yet?
I've watched the film. I haven't gone to the live orchestra thing yet.
Oh yeah. Well, you've seen the Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah, I've seen.
What do you think about it?
It's one of my favorite movies.
Cool, I haven't seen
I
it
love it.
Everyone talks so highly about
Have
it.
you seen the Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, the first one, not the
Yeah.
second one, or third one, is it?
Second one.
Second one. Third one is next year, right?
I think it's
to me.
delayed now.
Late. Oh, why?
Well, because this second one took years and years to make, and yeah, I think promising.
Is it better than the
third
first one?
For me, it was, but because I saw it in the right theater. Because I know there were problems with like sound. That was like a big thing that like people in the theater and like the staff didn't put the volume up correctly.
Okay, so was it like too loud?
No, it was too soft.
Too soft.
And I think sound is half of film because you might have noticed like when you're watching videos, you'll notice bad sound more than you notice bad picture.
What's a bad sound?
As in like if your sound quality is not good,
Oh, okay, yeah.
you'll notice that
Yeah.
more than if your video quality is not the best. Like if you're shooting in 480p,
Yeah.
you'll still watch it. It's still watchable if you have good sound. But if you have bad sound and it's just like crackly the whole time, or like it sounds like it's underwater, but you've got like high res 8K footage,
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch that.
But do you think people will notice if you put a 2K or an 8K or 4K movie up on the screen?
No. So like those things, not really.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of fake as well.
What, 8K and whatnot?
Yeah, like there's true 8K, but a lot of 8K cameras are not, a lot of high res cameras are not actually like in camera producing those qualities. So you'll get like 4K coming into the camera, and then the camera itself upscales it to 8K or something.
But what's the big difference? Is it like barely noticeable?
Yeah, it's like if we expand it and then it uses like computer generated things to like fill in the gaps. And people can like say, oh yeah, my movie's in 8K, but if it's a bad movie, then it's still a bad movie.
Yeah. Do you think we'll get to a point where it's like 10K, 20K? Or is it like far-fetched? That's it?
I think so, just because I don't know if it's going to be an actual thing, but it will be marketed as like 8K.
What are we
10K.
going to do with it? Like how?
It's just a marketing thing.
Is that it?
It's always like, oh, our cameras can shoot high resolution.
But what's next for cameras?
I think smaller cameras
Like
are coming back. Not like even big film cameras.
Okay.
If they can, they're trying to make it as small as possible so we can fit it into smaller places. I think that's where the cameras are looking like they're trending, and also just like wireless things are crazy at the moment.
But why? Why do you think small cameras?
Because there's less rigging and less work to do if you need to put a camera on like a car or something. Or if you need to rig it onto wherever. Like for example, we used to use helicopters to get like these overhead shots.
Yeah.
And now we have, instead of a massive helicopter, we have this tiny drone
The
that we can
drone,
fly.
yeah.
And so it's just about usability. It's about,
And to cut the budget.
cutting the budget, basically.
Isn't that what they're doing with the actors right now with the AI facial recognition? They're trying to cut
Yeah.
budget.
I don't know what they're doing there.
Dude, whatever you do, don't get Timothy Chalamet, man. I'm sick of it. This is like the 4th time. Just don't get the guy. Because if they get his facial expressions scanned, we're done for. It's going to be Timothy Chalamet for like the next 20 years. And he's
Yeah.
never going to grow up.
It's always going to stay a little boy.
It's always going to say he's not that young. He's like 25 now.
I don't know. He's very youthful looking.
He is. Isn't that what they cast him?
I think so. They always.
But what about the Wonka movie?
Yeah.
He's a little bit old.
I don't know how I feel about that Wonka movie coming
Did you see
out.
the trailer?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Just slightly unnerved by
Why?
everything looks. Oh, because I'm also a massive fan of the original with Gene Wilder. So
So nostalgia.
yeah, it's a bit of nostalgia. It's about like the creepy. You've seen it, yeah?
Yeah.
Like the creepy boat scene where
Yeah.
there's like flashing colored lights and it's just like staring menacingly at the kids.
No,
But,
I understand. What's your most nostalgic movie?
Probably The Polar Express.
Oh,
Have you seen that? We used to watch it like most Christmases.
Oh.
It's like a classic Christmas movie.
yeah.
Watching it back now, it's the most terrifying thing I've seen because it's like motion capture. Like,
Yeah.
Motion capture Tom Hanks is terrifying.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing moves.
Well, they did good for what they had at the time.
Yeah,
it's like
for
an
sure.
old movie.
Yeah.
How old is it right now? Is it 20 years? 15?
Possibly.
Yeah, maybe something like that. You
Yeah.
watch it today and you think that it's still relevant
Yeah.
with what they've done. I like those kind of animations.
Mm.
Are they coming back or are they still, kind of dead?
Motion capture is still here. I feel like it's here to stay.
But we've gone kind of a Spider-Verse,
but-
cartoony type
Yeah.
of
Well, I
animation.
love that stuff.
I love
And
that too.
You can see how it's affected other animation styles. Like Puss in Boots, for example.
Yeah.
Like you can see
Yeah.
how that's been influenced by
Clearly,
the
yeah.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
But motion capture, I think it's better not for animation, but for CGI live action things, like Gollum. Like you'll see
Yeah,
like all the
yeah,
dots in the face
yeah.
and just like doing that stuff.
Yeah.
But I love the comic book styles coming through with like Spider-Verse and things.
It makes you appreciate the art more
Yeah,
and the artists.
and you can see it's influenced by comic books and
Yeah.
not just it's an animation.
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely seen myself follow more of the Spider-Verse artists right after the movie because that came out and I went trying to check other sketches of what they had. And they put, the cool thing about it, like they've got a couple of accounts that post the sketches and what didn't make it into the movie, and they go crazy with their ideas, and they get this room to play around with whatever they want because it's not really motion capture; it's just a drawing,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful. Dude, what's your background?
So I am Chinese Malaysian.
Nice.
So my dad's from Malaysia and my mum was born here, but her mum's from Hong Kong.
Oh, you're born here as well.
Yeah, I was born here.
Which one do you like more, Malaysia or China?
Well, I haven't been to China, so
Which side of family do you
Malaysia.
like more?
I cannot answer that.
Oh, come on.
I don't have a favorite.
We all know it's the mum side. I've never had a guy that says, "Oh, I love my dad's side."
I think I see my dad's side more,
Yeah.
but again, like my dad's side, all my cousins are like around my age, and then on my mum's side, they're all not super old, but like they're older.
I think the lore for the dad side is a little bit more wild. It's a little bit deeper. It's got a little bit more backstory to it. Especially the lore for your dad and your uncle if you have one.
Yeah,
They always go way back. But is that why you got into piano? Jesus, that sounds a little bit stereotypical, doesn't it?
I don't know. It's not like they were like, "Oh, I'm Chinese. You need to play piano."
Yeah, but I'm Arab. My parents didn't force me into piano,
yeah,
so you can kind of run a statistic test on it.
yeah.
We should do it.
Statistically, who's more likely to play piano?
Yeah, but like if you see it in films and whatnot, if there's an Asian kid, they're
Yeah.
always like playing piano or an instrument of some type,
I mean,
and they're always smart.
I feel like I guess I fit that stereotype, but it wasn't through that I started playing piano. My parents were always loved music. My name Marsalis is named after jazz musician Wynton Marsalis.
Oh,
So yeah, they always liked music.
okay.
But yeah, it was just through that passion that they wanted me to learn something. It's also just a really good skill to learn.
Yeah, definitely for sure. It kind of empowers your brain, don't you think?
For sure.
'Cause, like-
piano, I need to use both hands, a foot as well.
I've tried it before. It's difficult. It's very hard to like know exactly what to press at the right time without even trying to look at it.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
I do this little game with my piano students, seeing if you can separate the different sides of your brain. You might have seen videos, but like when you do like this.
No, what's that?
So you're clicking like up and down. So you like see an imaginary up and down line with
Okay.
your left hand, and your right hand you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then once you do that, then you imagine a triangle with your right hand, but you got to keep hitting those dots. So you do that, and you kind of need to separate your brain, and then you can do a square,
Dude, you're so good at it.
and then you can do like a triangle at the same time as a square. But it's definitely comes from piano.
That one comes from piano.
Well, not that exercise, but just like learning to be able to like separate your brain.
Okay, yeah.
Separate your hands and.
Because if
being
you
able
do want to
two
separate,
things.
it's not necessarily the left side with the left hand. It's the left side with the right hand.
Yeah, I
Right.
think it's like switched around.
It's
yeah.
switched, yeah. Dude, I should give it a try. Hold on. This is gonna look so
Yeah.
absurd, right? And so if I want to do a triangle, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
but-
no, I screwed it up. Yeah, that's why I don't play piano. Yeah, but I do like
You'll
music.
see like a lot of musicians end up being able to do that stuff. Also, I think like my fingers are so much longer than most people, just because I've got piano hands,
They're pretty long.
um,
Do you need that for piano?
and it makes it so much easier. And I think it's developed through playing piano.
Oh, yeah.
My fingers are so much longer because I've been playing for so long. But also, yeah, your body's crazy. Like I used to do swimming, and like my shoulders are like relatively broad, I'd say.
Jesus.
And yeah, it's all just from your body adapting to what
Adapting,
you're doing.
yeah, right, you're right. That's kind of what resistance training is all about, really. You put yourself in situations where you kind of adapt to high effort, high reward. And so you see it with athletes all the time. They do resistance training all the time because they want to have as much stamina as they want. And so they go into these really hard situations. Some of them like train it. Have you ever heard of an athlete going up a mountain to train? Like at a higher atmosphere? It's because they want to like condense their lungs and not have as much oxygen go into their lungs when they go back into like normal level atmosphere.
Yeah, so your body gets used to it.
It gets used
it's
to
like
it.
muscle memory.
Right, yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. You work out?
Yeah,
Fitness page.
Hmm?
Fitness page you have.
You've got a
you looked
fitness
at my
page?
fitness
He
page
looked at,
too.
no.
No.
He's doing all the stalking.
So
what do you do?
We will not talk about that. No.
This model.
Yeah, so I did that with my brother. I got into working out just at home.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge supporter of being able to work out wherever. Like calisthenics or just home workouts, HIIT workouts are super important.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say that they don't have time to work out or they don't have the facilities, they
That's
can't be bothered going to the
bullshit,
gym.
bro. That's the biggest bullshit
Like-
I've ever heard in my life.
If you have a floor, you can work out. I spent, like 2-3 years of working out just at home, just doing like all body weight exercises.
Yeah.
And it's super important to be able to move around, and doesn't need to be like you have to lift the heaviest weights, but just like staying healthy is super important for your health.
The people that make excuses are the laziest, right? And so is people that are not doing much with their lives. If you're not working out, I don't think you're doing much with your life, if I'm being honest. Like, if you don't have the urge to just take care of your body, you're not taking care of your mind. And so how healthy can you be? It's like a car. The car is working, right? But like, if you don't service it, it's going to get to a point where it crashes. And some people crash early on.
For
Like
sure.
you see them in their 20s, in their 30s, and they have back pains. They have Shit, even lung problems, right? If you don't take care of your lungs and if you're a big, heavy smoker, if you don't exercise your lungs as much, you could die by like 23, 25, 30 even.
Yeah.
That guy on the pack of cigarettes, the poor guy, I don't know what his name, but every time someone pops it. Brian, yeah, see Brian. Well, how old was he when he died? 36.
No. I think 57, something like that.
57?
Yeah.
We'll say 36.
Okay. 26 around.
But it happens. It happens. What kind of exercises do you do? You said HIIT. And what else?
So HIIT, like high intensity workouts. So I've got a set of dumbbells at home, and like during lockdown we got like a pull-up bar and things like that.
Did you get that one that you hang on the...
No, that's really bad for your frame, door frame. So we got like an actual one that we installed in the garage.
What, frame as in your back or
No,
frame as in like the
door
door frame?
frame. Like, it will break.
That's terrible, yeah.
And like I've seen way too many videos of people like
I don't like it
falling.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
But yeah, mostly just body weight workouts. We used to, so my cousin used to be the manager of a gym, so Jets. And he got us a sponsorship
Nice.
through them. So like
Dude, they're so expensive.
we got a free membership from them.
Yeah,
so we
good.
worked out for like a year. So that's like all of our fitness account.
Oh,
and doing
there
all
you
that
go,
stuff. Now I don't do that stuff anymore. I just try to be a little bit more active. Like I was talking to you before, like I have like 5-6 different jobs at the moment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't be as like athletic or working out as often as I used to.
Is it because you don't have the time or the energy?
Probably a bit of both, I think. I always try to make an effort to work out at some point, like 3-4 times a week. It doesn't need to be.
That's
like,
not bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
But it doesn't need to be like a full hour, 2 hours of working
No,
out. It
no.
can just be like, if you 10 minutes of HIIT workout is.
Dude, as long as you're getting yourself moving, that's all that
sure.
matters. Like some people make the excuse like, oh, I don't have like 2 hours a day. You don't need 2 hours a day. All you need is like 10 minutes max, 20 minutes. If you can get like a HIIT workout at least,
Yeah.
go out and run. Get a treadmill, even though I don't like it. Like
Yeah.
my mom got a treadmill last week and I'm hating on it. It's annoying. It makes a big noise. And it's right next to my office.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's literally as simple as going on a jog.
Yeah.
Right? And some people like overestimate that.
I always catch myself like scrolling, like doom scrolling on Instagram or something.
Oh.
And so it's like 10, 15 minutes have passed and I'm like, wow, I could have done a workout in that time.
Goes by so easy like
So
that.
people do have time, they just kind of don't realize
They
it.
do. It's like 24 hours. Like, let's be real. How many hours are you going to sleep? How many hours do you sleep? 6, 7, 8?
I try 8.
You try.
Right now, like I'm on uni holidays, so it's good. I'm getting some sleep in,
Yeah.
finally catching up with that sleep.
Yeah.
But when I'm on like productions, I've had like, 5 hours sleep.
But even that, it's not totally
too
bad.
bad,
It's
yeah.
not too bad. I've had 5 hours of sleep and I went to shifts for 8 hours. I still can pull through and do another shift right after.
Yeah.
It's not healthy because
No.
it's not healthy because it messes with your brain. Even though you don't see it and like you wake up, you have your coffee, you go on, you get your shift in and you do a second shift. Overall, over time, it starts creeping in and then you suffer. But you can definitely do with 5 hours.
Yeah.
But 6 is probably...
Sleep is super important. People forget.
Yeah.
Like, part of fitness is getting good sleep. Your body uses that time to repair yourself. And you can't build muscle without sleeping because you need to repair. That's like the way muscle is built is that you break down your muscle fibers so that you can repair them bigger. But
why-
if you don't get sleep...
Why do we sleep if we're in a simulation?
So we don't think that we're in a simulation.
We don't think.
Yeah, it's just to make ourselves believe that we're not in a simulation.
Do you think the sleeping part is just like turning off the whole thing?
Yeah, like do you remember falling asleep and waking up? Do you remember that period in between?
Sometimes you
Maybe.
dream.
Yeah, what if dreams are just a different simulation that you're in?
What if dreams is like a gateway into a different reality?
Yeah.
That's what I was discussing with my parents the other day. Like I've had a wild dream and it was me and Jason Statham and no,
Did you win the fight? You probably won the fight.
Probably won the fight, right? It was me, Jason Statham, maybe I don't know, someone else. It was a big action scene we were going on, right? And yeah, maybe I am an action dude. Right? And it was just weird because like it felt so surreal. When I woke up, I told my parents straight up, And like, you should go back to sleep. Right? No, like I told him, I was like, what if your dreams is just like a window to a parallel reality? And when you go to sleep, you see what the other user is doing.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Or like deja vu is weird. Like I know it is just like your brain mistaking short-term memory as long-term memory, but like what if, and just hear me out, if you believe in reincarnation, what if it's like that point when your lives are like intersecting and you realize that you've been here before because your previous life has been here. And I definitely don't think it's true, but I like to think of that.
That's messed up.
Might be just a fun thing. These are the things I think about.
Neil deGrasse did a damage.
Hey, anyone who studies film is kind of messed up a little bit.
No, that's true. You kind of have to be, if I'm being honest. But that's so interesting. I like that. I like diving into those kind of weird little ideas. But you can get yourself into a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And sometimes you struggle to get out. I've definitely been one of those guys. Yeah. You go into a rabbit hole and you start thinking about it for hours and hours and hours. Dude, what if, right? What if all of what's happening right now never actually happened? What if it's just fake?
It could.
It could be. What if we're just like little dolls and someone's like puppeteering? Because that's what I used to think when I was a little kid. Like when I used to go on car rides with my parents, right? Because I used to like play with like mini cars all the time. And so it kind of stuck in my head that I'm the guy that controls the cars.
Yeah.
And when I used to go on car rides with my parents at 7 years old, I thought, shit, if I'm playing with toy cars, someone must be playing with the car right now.
I mean, I believe that we have no free will, and we're kind of going down a rabbit hole here.
Oh, yeah? Why not?
I think we have the illusion of free will, but I think we only have one path that we're meant to take in every decision. Because based on, everything is cause and effect for me, and based on your previous history or your actions in the moment or your environment, you will have only one thing that you will do. And so you have the illusion that, okay, this is my choice that I've made, and you think that you've made that choice, but in reality, there was no other choice that you could have made, which is kind of complicated thing to think about.
What do you mean by you had no choice? Because like, you do get presented with choices, right?
Yeah, but that's the illusion of a choice. Like, based on your character, you will choose the same thing.
Okay, but what if I like put like 3 cups right now and I tell you this is orange, this is strawberry, this is cranberry?
Yeah.
You've got options.
I do.
But you don't?
Well, so let's say that I have these 3 different fruits or whatever that I can choose. My body and my brain is like, okay, I know I prefer an orange over these things. I know right now this is what I'm feeling like, an orange. So I'm going to pick an orange every time.
What if you go against that?
Then that was your choice. That was...
So that's not free will either?
It is free will because because it's... at that point, you want to purposefully go against it. And that is like your mental state at that point.
And so did you open another path?
So yeah, it's not really opening another path. It's just like all these factors combined, which are infinite factors combined, will produce one thing.
That is so much stuff, dude.
I don't know if you understood any of that, but...
I kind of did, but because I study psychology, they kind of teach us psychology that you have to believe that you have free will. You can't... It's not a debate sort of thing. It can't be a debate sort of thing because and this is what I agree with as well, like, sure, maybe there is free will, maybe there isn't. Maybe everything is predetermined, but I can't carry on my day thinking that everything is predetermined. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the motivation to do what I want to do. And part of me choosing to think that I have free will is that I can bear the responsibility of the consequence of what comes next. Because if you did something and it didn't go so well, and you're like, shit, oh well, it's all right, it's predetermined, whatever, I can move on. But if you do something and it's not as good of a choice, you can go, I screwed it up. It was my choice. It was 100% my responsibility.
Yeah. No, I agree that we should act like we have free will, but in reality, I like to think that we don't.
That's not the vibrations, my brother. Did you develop that idea recently, or did you always have it as a kid?
No, recently, like I love comic books,
Okay.
and not just fictional comic books, but just non-fiction comic books. And I just feel like it's an easier way to digest. For me, it's like it's a movie on the page.
But you like fictional more?
So, I've been getting into more non-fictional comics, like non-fictional graphic novels, I guess. So there's one that I really like. It's called the Cartoon Introduction to Philosophy, and it talks about free will. And I got into that a bit more and just like thinking about things on a deeper level.
Yeah.
But that only happened like, in the past few years or so.
That's interesting, bro. I wouldn't think that existentialism would hit a 7-year-old.
No.
But I think it happened one time. No, it happened with a bird. That's the most absurd case of existentialism. There was a bird in the late 90s or early 2000s. And you know how there's some talking parrots?
Yeah.
One of them asked an existential question. And that question was so absurd. Like, it got so popular at the time. I think his name was Barry or Larry or something like that. And he talked and he was like, what color am I? It got people buzzing for a while. But that's a bird. How do you justify a 7-year-old having existentialism and existential questions? Like, is it normal? Is it part of the cycle?
I feel like
Or is it too early for a 7-year-old to have existentialism?
kids are naturally more curious. I
They
think.
are.
So
They're naturally more annoying. Well, that's why they're curious. Like, they're like, people think they're annoying.
yeah,
They're
they
not.
just want to know.
They want to
things.
know things,
Yeah.
right?
As you become older, you just kind of get used to everything and you stop questioning things. But I feel like it's important to always be questioning, not just like, am I alive or who am I? But, well, I guess who am I is an important thing to think about. But yeah, no, kids are always more curious than adults, and I really appreciate that.
Is that part of the idea that never lose the kid inside you that you agree with?
Yeah, I think always keep, you have like your kid self and you just like mold your life around it, but always try to keep, we're born, like I was saying, we are born to learn, we're born to pick up things. And so if you kind of lose that ability, you've kind of, in a sense, lost the ability to be human. Because you're kind of turning into a robot if you're just going with everything and just following instructions.
Well, not really a robot. You're still a human, but you're
Are
very...
you though?
Yes. Yeah, you're a human without meaning. You can have humans with meaning, and you can have humans that are without meaning, and that would differentiate someone from being alive and someone actually living,
Yeah.
right? Like, you see a lot of these people, they're just doing whatever. They follow whatever. They don't really have an opinion. They don't really have a passion. They don't really have a drive, and they just exist. They're what I think are the filler people. There's a lot of them, and it's very
Kind of
sad.
Float through life.
They kind of float through life. They're sort of like NPCs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
NPCs are just robots.
You think so?
Yeah.
Is that what you think?
They're coded. They're not actual humans.
Is
They're
that
not
the
actual
same
players.
thing with the birds being drones? Along the same lines, we're getting there.
I have an issue with birds.
Why?
Well, actually, birds probably have an issue with me. I've been attacked by too many birds.
In what way?
Physically, like,
Oh, like magpies?
not even magpies, like a small pigeon or something will just like at the train station will just like run at me and start.
Why are you getting
attacking
attacked by
me.
pigeons?
I have no idea.
What have you done?
One time I was walking in the CBD in the city and I had a salmon sushi roll. And I was walking down. This seagull just like swoops down in one swoop, just like picks up the salmon and flies off.
Dude, the seagulls are fucking assholes. I'm telling you right now.
Happened twice in that day. I had 2 sushi rolls.
I swear, the seagulls and the magpies are assholes. I hate them. They're always trying to steal your stuff.
Or like I was walking into a shopping center
Yeah.
and there was these birds hanging around the front.
Yeah.
and all these people just like walk through, and then as soon as I get there, it just swoops me. They just have a vendetta against me or something.
No, I don't think it's just you, bro. Those birds are just a little bit too aggressive, and I think it can get. We have to be thankful that this simulation they're not overpowered. Because think about the aggression and the hatred they have towards human beings, and if they were built like human beings.
Yeah.
You would have a giant seagull, coming up square up every time you pull your salmon roll out. That's not a very nice simulation. I don't want to be living in that. So I'm happy with my simulation.
Nice.
It's a very good simulation. Are you happy with it?
Yeah, I'm happy with my simulation. Yeah? I feel like, again, we don't have any choice of our simulation. So
but you're making your choices.
We gotta have.
Right? Like, it's your choice to become a filmmaker. It's your passion.
Where did that passion come from, though? That's the thing.
It could come from anywhere.
Yeah.
Like
but all those factors combined means that I would be interested in film.
Which factors?
Like your upbringing, your environment, your schooling, everything like that.
I don't think
Influences.
so.
I don't think I was
disagree.
born to be a filmmaker. I don't think I came out of the womb and just like I knew at that point.
It's like Mufasa Senior.
Yeah, it's like you're supposed to be a filmmaker. That wasn't a thing. It's just developing throughout the years a passion for filmmaking. Like I only decided to study film halfway through my final year of high school.
Also through year 12.
Yeah.
That's pretty late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I work as a student ambassador for my uni, so Swinburne Uni. And I talk about my journey from high school into uni and how I got there. And I show them my list of subjects that I did in high school, and it was like a range of stuff. I did like math and physics and media, viscom, history. I did like a range of everything because I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And because I just liked learning, I liked to look at all different things. I think in a sense they all came together at some point because like history is basically just advanced storytelling. So I like learning about stories, and that comes in through with my filmmaking. But yeah, it was only throughout in the middle of year 12 when I realized I don't want to be working on my viscom graphic design folio. I'd rather be making films, and that's when I decided I'm going to study film.
It's very interesting.
Memory is full.
Sorry?
The memory.
Oh, memory is full?
Yeah.
That's all right. All right. Memory is full.
It's very soon.
No, this one?
Yeah.
No, I've got memories.
You got?
Yeah. Do you want to go grab the other camera
Oh,
from downstairs? Yeah. I mean, we could talk for hours.
Yeah,
Yeah. We're just going to take a short break
that's all
by
good.
the time we replace the memories.
And if you get me talking about film or existential stuff, we'll chat for ages.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we can still be talking. It's just not going to be on camera because this is a raw cut. I don't really edit the audio files that much.
Oh, really? Okay.
No. Like, unless someone gives me an idea, like, sorry, like in advance, like, hey, I wouldn't rather talk about this. Because I had a time where I talked about something and someone said, hey, I'm really sorry, but like this and that happened in my life, and so it's not really appropriate for me to talk about this right now. And I can understand that if it's something emotional, but I try not to cut as much.
Yeah.
It's more raw than edited. And so everything talked, even me coughing, I don't put that many cuts. Because like if you make something that's edited and scripted, the people are just not going to subscribe to it. They're not going to like it. They're going to know when you put a product out and it's polished. No one wants polished product.
Well, it depends.
For film, I don't know. Like,
Depends what kind of podcast you want to make. If you just want to hear someone's stream of consciousness, you want to hear people talking about things, then yeah. But if you want like a specific thing and then you go on tangents about what is life.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I get what you mean right now because I've listened to a few podcasts before and they're kind of like a talk show. And last time I checked it out, one guy spent like 2 minutes with an introduction.
Yeah.
And it's polished, like fully polished. Like they put the ad at the start and then they introduce the guest for like 2 minutes. I could never do that.
Yeah.
It just feels like so disconnected from the audience. Like it's not just me and you right now talking. There's like 20, 30 other 40 people sitting in this room right now,
Yeah.
but they could be on their phones, they could be in the gym, they could be on their way to work, and they're listening to it. You're right. And so if you are listening to it, I am very thankful to you, man. I want to listen to my own voice, right? What about you do?
I hate my own voice as well. So
Is that what, like with everyone?
this is probably it's
Why?
because we don't hear our actual voice when we speak out loud, because like we can hear the bone vibrations in our head. So our voice is actually not as deep as we think it is.
Oh, so you mean like if you think your voice is deep, it's not as deep?
It's not as deep, yeah.
Oh.
Like that's why when you hear the recordings of yourself, like it's like, does my voice actually sound like that?
Oh. And so you say part of it is your vibrations.
Yeah, because like your sound waves affect your bones in your head, and those translate to your eardrums. And so deep vibrations create deep sounds.
Why are they deep vibrations though?
I don't know the physiological stuff to it, but like it's just
Do you think it's because it's coming out from deep within your body?
yeah, it's like everything, all vibrations affect things around it. So it's going to affect your body, and then that's going to affect your ears.
But what about the people with the high pitched voice?
All their voice is higher than they think.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. What I just said right now, because otherwise everyone would have a deep voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, if your deep voice is just because your voice is coming out from deep within your body. How does deep voice work anyway?
I have no idea.
I've seen something somewhere where I don't know what they call it. What do they call this part right here?
The Adam's apple, or like the
No,
voice box?
like your vocal cords.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Your vocal cords. It's how thick or soft the cord is determines how deep or thick your voice is.
Yeah.
I think so. And then smoking plays a part into it. I don't know how, but it thickens your vocal cords.
Yeah, and that's why you get a deeper voice.
Deeper voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then kind of condensed as well. Have you ever heard those people that talk in a very
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens, because it kind of becomes not only too thick, but it's got something like holes in it or something like that.
Yeah.
And so that explains it. Are you a smoker?
No, I'm not a smoker.
Why? You're a filmmaker.
I'm not that broken yet.
No?
No.
Do you believe in that whole tortured artist, tortured filmmaker?
No.
I love this word so much, tortured artist.
Tortured artist.
Yeah, my friend told it to me the other day. And she just said it on the podcast, and I've stuck to it every time I'm feeling an artist.
Tortured artist just feels like you need to suffer for your art.
Yeah?
And I don't want to suffer for my art. I want to make things that are fun. That's why I make comedies. Because people are suffering a lot already. Why do you need to put yourself through that? And why do you need to show more stuff? I agree that there are amazing things coming out of people going through their own personal experiences and showing that on film.
Yeah.
But for me, if I'm not doing exactly that, I want to make something that people want to laugh to. They want to escape reality a little bit.
Is that what you think comedy is? An escape from reality?
Yeah, but also just appreciating reality as well. Like, especially my comedies, I like appreciating the little quirks of life and how little things can be funny. I like you always see those little snippets of Family Guy on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones is just like Peter, and he's like trying to put like this plastic wrap over the bowl. And it's the most relatable thing I've ever seen. And it's just because he got the piece that's too small and he's trying to pull it over, and then it pulls over the other side. And it's like a full 5 minutes or something of doing it. And like there's so much comedy in real life that people kind of forget about that.
Yeah, but Family Guy is so bizarre with their comedy, dude. It's so absurd. They're funny, they're hilarious. But they kind of, I think older Family Guy episodes used to be funnier than the newer ones. That's just my opinion. But that's also like the kind of mainstream opinion about everything ever. It's like,
the old
the
stuff
older
is
the better.
better,
Yeah. I don't know. But I didn't watch the old ones like, when they were coming out. I just started watching it like 2 years ago. And so I went through it chronologically.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but I click whatever episode. So I watch Family Guy when I'm eating.
Yeah.
And so I put my dinner and I put Family Guy. And so I just click whatever episode. And I usually start from season 1, 2, 3, 4 and make my way up.
Yeah.
Like dinner by dinner. And no, the comedy from the older ones are definitely better.
I mean, I've never seen like full episodes. I've only seen stuff on YouTube and stuff. So that
That's such a bizarre thing to say, bro.
in Instagram because it's so consumable. Because they have so many cutaways
They do.
that like
Well, you don't like that.
no, I think it's just so much easier and it works so much better for like the TikTok generation.
Yeah.
Because people can just watch snippets and they don't need to watch the entire thing.
Bro, an episode of Family Guy is like 10 reels combined all together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why like, yeah, short form content is taking over at the moment. Less people are going to cinemas, more people are just like scrolling through Instagram because it's just so much easier to consume. That's why you see like, even YouTube's too long for people now.
Yeah.
Like you see Mr. Beast, like it's insane how much stuff he's putting on you in like 1 minute.
Yeah.
Like whatever his last video was, like he crashed a train into something
Yeah.
or like did like 50 different things in this one small video because you can't stay on something for too long and people won't appreciate it in like people who are so used to TikTok and things like that. Yeah, it's a totally different way of thinking.
Well, but I think we're getting to a point where long form is also getting appreciated. I watched a video on YouTube the other day discussing that. Well, hold on, let me just check that before we go. Did it finish recording? Yeah, all right then. It's just a substitute, yeah? Take that out, take that in. Cool. I was watching a video on YouTube the other day. He's talking about how long form did take over, but it's not lost hope for long form. And that he kind of like talked about the negativity of short form and how it kind of does reduce the attention span. But he also talked about how long form has downsides to it as well, and how you as a content creator can use short form to bring people into the long form, and so they can go hand to hand.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like the first thing I think of are the, like, you know, those movie summaries that you see, and then it's just like a quick summary of
Like a trailer.
film. Not exactly a trailer, but it's just like someone describing, and it's kind of like in fast forward, describing what basically happens in the film, but it's like a 30-second TikTok or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I've caught myself out at those times and like, oh, that's a cool film. I'll watch that. And that's another way to like market your films, I guess.
Yeah. Would you do TikToks to market your film? Like shorts?
We did think about doing that, and then we were just kind of too busy to do it. But
What would you do though? How would
it's
you market a film on TikTok?
yeah, marketing with TikTok and social media is strange, and it's hard for people who are not used to it to understand, because it's more about creating a good relationship with your audience and making something that is valuable for them, and on the side showcasing your product. I know a lot of people make videos and it's just like, look at this thing that I made. This is cool, but I think you need to prioritize that relationship and that community engagement, because that's the main thing about social media, is being able to interact quickly and effectively with your audience. And so whether that is like making little challenges or responding to the comments as like your main thing, and then on the side you'll have little videos, or at the end of the video you might show like your products, or throughout the video you'll show that product but indirectly. I feel like that's a much more effective way to market yourself and your brand.
But the lighting was too strong.
Was the lighting too strong?
Oh,
And here when you see it.
the screen was too small.
No, let me see. I think you have to
exposure's
reduce the
different.
ISO. Hold on, I'll fix it. We back.
And we're back,
See, I'm sort of a technician too.
doing everything. Jack of all trades.
Yeah, no, but thanks, Majd. He pulled in heavy. If he wasn't here, we would have been screwed, because I had to go all the way to the parking lot. That's where I had the spares.
wow.
And thank God I had the spares, because I was rushing out of the house today and I forgot the spares. And I was like, do I go back? Do I not go back? And so like 50 meters out of my house, I just said, screw it, I have to go back. Just what if? And
Yeah.
wow, now thinking about it, now that's good that I
That's
came
me.
back.
Like every photography trip, or whenever I'm bringing my camera
Yeah.
along, like I always think like, do I need this lens? Do I need this filter?
Mm.
And
You
then
don't know.
The times that I don't bring it, I need it. The
Yeah.
times that I do bring it, I don't need it.
Yeah.
But you never know.
That's crazy, bro. I mean, what are we in? 2 hours into it? I gotta ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna play a mini game?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. You cool with that?
Yeah.
All right. I'll introduce you to the mini game.
Mhm.
So the way it works, you've got 2 questions. I get 2 questions. You've got 15 seconds to answer. I get 15 seconds to answer. You don't answer within that time frame, I get another question. If I don't answer within that time frame, you get another question, and so on and so forth. You happy with that?
So you have questions,
I have way too many questions.
and then I respond to that question, and I give you a question.
Yes. Within 15 seconds, if you can do it.
Okay. Oh, pressure.
Oh, that's a timer? Beautiful, man. We got a timer on our hands as well. And so
Wow.
now we got it,
So much pressure.
Dude, that's 15 minutes. What are you trying to do? I think 15 seconds is good, yeah?
Yeah.
You happy with 15
what
seconds?
kind of questions are you thinking?
Existentialism.
Existential,
No.
existential questions in 15 seconds?
No, I'm not going to ask you existentials. I'll ask you deep questions. Because the thing about it is, if you ask someone a deep question,
Yeah.
they'll take their time to think about it.
Yeah.
But if you give them a time limit, they'll have to respond with whatever comes first to their mind.
Yeah.
And so it could be like the wrong answer totally. Like, you could say something that it's not what you want to say, but, this just makes it more authentic. It's like what we
Yeah.
were talking about unedited.
I always have a problem with talking quickly.
Really?
Because I always feel like there's like some kind of disconnection along the way from my brain to my mouth.
Oh, yeah? What do you mean by that?
I don't know. I was looking into it, and I'm speculating, so I don't know if I have it. But like self-diagnosing here, like executive dysfunction, I think it is, or something.
Yeah.
But it's just like not being able to articulate the thoughts in your head properly, because there's so much stuff going on in my head, but sometimes I just can't say what I'm thinking.
Dude, I kind of have the same problem.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what people tell me. Like, I always talk to people and they go, you're not as articulate as you think you are.
Yeah.
That's kind of a problem. I'm running a podcast.
Yeah, I know.
What do you think?
I think you sound fine. I think
Thanks, man. I appreciate
sounds
it.
good.
That's the only advice I care about. All right, I'm going to start.
Okay.
Okay. Marsalis,
Yes.
what is the best choice you've ever made in your life? Go.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I hate
yeah,
this. I mean, just because we're talking about film, I guess, like studying film, pursuing my passion, because life is too short not to.
Oh, that's good. You made it. You had like a second to spare.
Yeah.
Yeah. But why? Why is it
Why?
chasing cinema?
Because I'm passionate about it, and
Yeah.
a lot of people go through life, like we were saying, like drifting through and not finding their passion. And if that's what you want, if your passion is just being able to experience life, then that's perfectly fine. Like, I'm happy and support that. But if that's not, and you're just doing it because you don't know what else to do, then I feel like that's an unfortunate way to live.
Yeah. So your best choice is chasing cinema?
Yeah.
See, I caught you in the same simulation trap again, but it is free will after all, guys. No, just kidding.
Is it though?
I don't know. We'll see. Towards
We're
the
gonna
end of
pretend it is free will.
We're gonna
though.
pretend it is.
Yeah.
There's no other option.
Exactly.
Which is the exact same thing you're thinking. There is no other option. It's full circle. Don't you see it?
Yeah.
There's no other option.
So we have to accept that's
Yeah.
free will, which means that we can't. Which
Dude,
means that
I
we
think you should
can.
ask a question.
Yeah. What inspired you to make this podcast?
Bomba clat. That's a tough one. No, I'll stop it right now. I've already got my answer because
Yeah.
I know it before. Talking to people, that's flat out what I would say inspired me to start it. And number 2, because I like conversation. I like talking to people wherever I go. I used to be such an introvert,
Yeah.
full on in my room, just playing video games at 16, 14, 15-year-olds. And I don't know what happened exactly, but now I have a podcast,
Yeah.
right? Somewhere in between those years, and now I'm 22, somewhere in between those years, something happened. And I became a person that likes to be a people's person, right? Where I like talking to people. I like finding out about people. I like talking to people about how they think and how I could learn from them. and how I could become better. And so I guess it's kind of self-improvement for me, right? I wanted to become a better person. So how do you become a better person? Well, talk to people and see what they do and see what good people are doing and see what bad people are doing. And maybe along your way, you can learn from the good and help the bad.
Yeah.
So that's probably mainly it for me.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's similar for me for like filmmaking. Like it's a way to express myself. I was definitely like a super introverted kid growing up. But now I feel like I'm slightly less introverted, just through like, being able to relate to other people, being able to find your people in filmmaking and being able to express yourself through the things that you make. Public speaking and being able to talk to your crew is an additional thing that really helps as well.
Have you done public speaking before? Like a TEDx or something like that?
Not a TEDx, but like through like my job as like a student ambassador for my uni. I give presentations to kids.
What's the biggest amount of people you talk to?
Probably like 100 people or something.
That's pretty good, bro.
Yeah.
That's a daunting bunch. Bless you.
Yeah. Bless you.
That's a daunting bunch, 100 people.
Yeah. I mean, if you kind of are comfortable with the stuff that you're talking about, then it's so much easier. Like, I hate remembering a script. This is why I cannot be an actor because like we had to do a pitch video. Actually, the one that you saw,
was that improvising?
that was not improvising. So like every line that I said was like one take and we cut in between. Because like I'm so bad and I have like a resting annoyed face. So if I'm trying to remember lines and also talk to camera, I'm just like I look so angry, which it's not great when it's a comedy film, but you know.
But you used to have longer hair, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I think I needed a haircut again, but.
I mean, it looks fine, bro. It looks alright. I used to have long hair too.
Yeah.
But now we're gone.
Yeah, I think it was like a COVID thing that everyone.
For sure. Yeah, but then it developed.
Yeah.
Then it kind of stayed. For me, you know, it became fades and tapers and whatnot. And I was like,
because I all throughout my life, actually, before COVID, like I had short hair, and now like I started growing it out. Because I used to have hair like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this short?
Yeah, like that short.
Okay.
Or even shorter, maybe.
Oh yeah. This is not that short.
Yeah.
It's just the way I comb it and whatnot. Would you ever consider getting a buzz cut?
I don't think my head's that. I don't think I have a good head for that.
Everyone has a good hair for a buzz cut.
I have like divots in my head.
Dude, trust me, man. I've been playing Cyberpunk for the past 2 weeks. The best decision I made playing that game is going from long hair to a buzz cut and dye it silver. Because it looks so badass, especially when he wears...
You've had a buzz cut?
Huh?
You've had a
No, not me. The character I play with in Cyberpunk.
Would you have a buzz cut?
Me?
Yeah. I mean, you're saying that it's good.
Yeah. I was considering it. I was telling my brother about
silver.
it. Yeah. If I have a buzz cut, I'm definitely dyeing it silver.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely wearing leather jackets.
Exclusively wearing it.
100%. If I'm gonna play a character, I'm gonna be 100%.
You're gonna go to like the beach and you're still wearing a leather jacket.
Yeah, 100%, bro. What, do you wear leather jackets as well?
I do have a couple. I do get into fashion a bit.
Yeah.
I just like I like color theory and I like
color theory.
Yeah.
So what's that?
Just like how colors match together and making things look nice. Like complementary colors or like these colors. These are neutral colors. You can mix them with these. And it's just a way to like express yourself as well.
Dude, I'm pretty boring. I just go black on black.
I mean, you're not wearing black right now.
I was at some point, but I took it off.
Yeah.
I had my... have you seen the colors of Tommy Hilfiger, like white, red, and purple? I wore it, and I was like, nah, I don't really like that. You know, I'm just gonna wear red and now black. But I'm kind of color matching as well.
Yeah,
you know,
like that's
If
fashion is just making a purposeful choice about what you wear.
But do you think we wear what we wear for ourselves or to impress others? Is it like fully to express ourselves or to kind of like show people?
Honestly, it depends on the person. I
really like
it because I feel more confident. I feel like I'm more presentable, but also I just kind of like the way I look in like certain outfits.
But isn't that an impression? Because why would you care about the way you look if you didn't want others to care about the way you look?
For sure, but if you think that you look better, then you feel more confident, and that's reflects back on yourself.
And so you feel more confident within the hierarchy that you're in, right?
I guess, yeah.
And so within the circle that you're in, you're more comfortable. And so why do you want to be more comfortable within the circle that you're in? It's just to like step up and be a little bit more assertive and confident. Do you get where I'm going
but
with
that's
this?
for yourself though.
Do you think so? Or isn't that for everyone? It's like you want to be confident for a reason.
Yeah. Well, there's different layers though. I think
Really?
it depends on like what you want. I like to do it for myself because I get confidence, and confidence makes me feel better. And so
But what's confidence for you?
I just like being presentable, you know. And if I'm like a big professional filmmaker person, I feel like I need to be a little bit professional.
You have to be confident
I have to be.
all the time.
No, I don't think you need to be confident all the time. I think you just need to be genuine, at least as much as you can.
Because you're telling a story, right?
Yeah.
And you want to tell that story as genuinely as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
That's interesting. All right, I'm going to get you to... Actually, I know your password. I was going to say I'm going to get you to unlock your phone because we need the timer again. Is it my turn to ask?
It is your turn.
It is my turn to ask. All right, bro. I've prepared a good question for you, just on the top of my head. I'm going to ask her right now. 3, 2, 1. When was the last time... Actually, no. Hold on. I'm going to run a couple more seconds because I want to look you dead in the face when I ask you the question.
Do I have that much time to answer, or that time to
No,
think
you start
about
at 15. It's just a couple seconds for me to like ask you the
Wait,
question.
is the 15 seconds for me to answer, or just
Yeah, that's 15 seconds for you to answer.
to answer the question?
Answer the question. All right, Marsalis.
Yes.
When was the last time you cried?
Oh, I'd say a few weeks ago. I am very bad at. I'm a big crier at movies.
Movies?
Yeah.
You cried at a movie?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, all right. Well, that settles it. Yeah, you answered very quick. Last time we did this with someone, she had, Dina.
Yeah.
Bro, she needed like 2 minutes to answer a question. Well, that's fair enough. I gave her like the heavy ones.
Yeah.
What movie was it?
It was Nimona.
Nimona.
It's a new one. It's an animated movie on Netflix at the moment.
Oh, okay. So you didn't cry in the theater?
No.
You cried at home?
Yeah.
Shame.
Well, it wasn't showing in theaters.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I think it's just about being able to empathize with characters. And like if they're going through the same things that you're going through, or you can relate to them at some aspect, then for sure, like.
Did you relate that deep?
Yeah, I think, what was it? It was, so the whole plot is like, this city is like protected by these knights who protect them against these monsters apparently from like out from beyond the walls. But then like this knight is framed for murdering the queen.
Okay.
Because he's a commoner who became a knight instead of like royalty. I feel like I'm not doing it justice, but
No, I'm getting the idea.
and so he gets framed by it, and he's like being hunted by other knights. He meets this girl Nimona, and it's and she turns out to be a monster.
Oh.
And she helps him like clear his name, but she is not actually like a bad person. She's the one trying to help him, and her struggle is just about people perceiving her as like a bad thing, and her self feeling like she's alone, and like everyone's out to get her, and that's something that always gets me in movies. It's like feeling that you're alone, or feeling that you're different to everyone else. And I know it's so super cliche, like I'm not like the other girls.
Yeah. I'm so quirky.
But yeah, exactly. But it's a true thing, and like sometimes you just feel like you don't fit in with other people, and being able to see that on screen is just like a super powerful thing to be able to empathize with.
Do you feel like that sometimes, that you're not fitting?
Yeah, I feel like there's not many people who think exactly the way that you do, or want to talk about existential things. I always say, and my partner says this as well, like she says that I'm like an old man stuck inside a 21-year-old body.
Yeah.
because I went to a party and I got like tired at like 10 o'clock. I was like, I just want to go home.
When did you
and
get to the
rest.
party?
Probably like 7. So
That's
I was there
terrible,
for like 3 hours. I was like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be bothered socializing. And like, part of it is probably just being an introvert. But yeah, I think when you're young, you're expected to be able to go out partying and drinking
So
and
you
like
think
talk
you
to
have
people.
more energy.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that.
But energy comes from different ways, and like maybe just like chilling with some of your close friends at home is better than going out partying.
100%. I think you don't necessarily have to be all out bowling all the time. Whatever gives you meaning, I think you should go for that. I haven't been clubbing in 22 years.
Yeah, I've never been clubbing.
Yeah, that's essentially what I
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's not something that I get joy out of. I get joy out of spending time with my friends. Maybe, I don't know, going Centros or getting some sweets with my mom, seeing my family, seeing my parents. This is what adds meaning. And you don't necessarily have to do what everyone else is doing,
Yeah.
right? It's you. It's literally you. If you do what everyone else is doing, there is no you no more,
Yeah.
right? It's just you're part of the meh. You're still a ship, right?
And it's a scary thing not doing what everyone else is doing.
Not doing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, like
Why
being
is it
able
scary?
to be genuine and like feel like you're on the outside because you're doing what's true to yourself and not what everyone thinks they're expected to do.
But how does it scare you to be genuine?
Because you feel like you're on the outside. You feel like you're not part of the popular group or whatever.
But you also have to feel like you're unique.
Yeah.
Because if you're like everyone else, you're just part of the herd. And there's a lot of people that are exactly the same, right? And you don't want to be a part of that because what's the meaning of you if you're just like everyone else,
Yeah.
right?
But also people want to belong. Like I feel like that's
But you can
part
still
of it.
belong.
But sometimes you feel like you don't belong because you're not like everyone else.
Well, so be it then. Like, why would you want to belong?
Because then you have people that you can rely on, or not necessarily rely on, but just like have people surrounded by people that you can get along with.
And so is it belong to a certain group or belong to a certain people? And there's a difference. It's like you belong to, say, for example, if you say a certain group, you're not belonging to one person. That's what I'm trying to say. And so instead of belonging to a partner, instead of belonging to a family member, you belong to a group.
Yeah.
Which one is more meaningful? Which one would you want more?
I mean, yeah, belonging to like a partner or your
Partner,
family. Yeah.
Exactly. Something more meaningful, something deeper, something that's more intimate,
Yeah.
right? And if you have that in your life, why would you want to care about not belonging into what everyone else belongs to?
Yeah. But like if you don't have either, then I feel like some
That's
people
pretty
want
sad.
to. Yeah.
Some people do have that.
So that's why people want to follow other people. They want some sense of belonging, whether that is family, friends, or a certain group.
And then it becomes their family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether they want it or not.
Yeah. Isn't that how gangsters are formed? Not thinking about it. It's
Yeah.
like the mafia does that. The
Yeah.
mafia takes people who don't belong and it gives them a sense of belonging.
Exactly. People want to feel like they belong somewhere.
Yeah. And their family afterwards. Or at least that's what the Godfather says.
Yeah.
Or Vin Diesel. Jeez, I hate my laugh. So disgenuine. That's not how I actually laugh. Is it your turn to ask a question?
Yes. I
You
think it is.
asked only one question, yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't get no bonus questions. You answered on time. Do you want the timer?
I have no idea what my question's going to be.
I'll put the timer anyway. I'll give you your 15 seconds. Whenever you ask a question, I'll put it on.
Okay. Who inspires you to do what you do?
I'll put the timer on because that's just a deep question. And I got the first name. I got like 2 names in my head. And the first one was Mo Salah. And the second one was my brother. Yeah. Jesus. All right. I stopped. All right. I answered. So no bonus questions, unfortunately. But I'll expand on what I mean. who inspires me to do what I do? Now thinking about it, I took the question two ways. I took the question as a person I idolize, and I took the question as a person who I do the work for, right? And I'm going to expand on both in a second. And I'm going to go with the less deep one. And I don't know if you know Mo Salah, but he's a football player, Mohamed Salah.
No.
Right. Reason why I kind of like, I don't idolize him, but he's someone I look up to, is because he comes from a similar background to what I'm from, and he made it.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like when I always want to look at a success story and I go, well, you know, someone like me did make it, so why shouldn't I? How can I not if someone didn't make it? So that's the less fundamental side of it, I guess. That's the other way. But to answer your question thoroughly, my brother, aka my family.
Yeah.
So it's not just my brother, my parents, my mom, my dad, even my friends, right? I like to preach a lot to my friends. And if I don't do what I preach, I'm not a good friend. And part of me preaching to them is do what you like, right? And so I'm doing what I like.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think they inspire me to do it because without them, I wouldn't be doing it. There is no motivation, right? Just yesterday, I was having a very rough night, and my brother came in and he made it all better, right? And he reminded me what I'm doing, what I was doing. He didn't tell me that, you know, oh, it's me, yeah. He talked to me, and then I realized, like, it clicked, like, oh, well, there you go. Here's what you're doing. Here's what has inspired you to do whatever you're doing right now. And coming from like an immigrant background, and this is like not an excuse, like, oh, I come from an immigrant background, but my parents came into the country in 2017, and so I took responsibility to give them the best life that I could possibly do. And while I try to do that, I'm not going to do it however. I'm going to do it the way that complements my life with theirs, if that makes sense. And so I'm going to help him, but I'm not going to do whatever to help him.
Yeah.
I'm going to do exactly what I want, and that's going to help me help them. So yeah, my family.
Yeah. I think it's important to build on yourself at the same time.
100%, bro. Because like, I know a lot of people that take that idea sideways, and I'm not hating or like saying it's wrong. Like some people just go and work themselves to death to provide to family, to provide to loved ones, children. Some people even steal for children. All right, and I'm not saying that that's bad. It's understandable. It's actually quite sad. But yeah, my family. But some people don't have the sacrifices that someone like me would have had. My parents sacrificed so much for me. Some people don't have that, don't have their parents sacrificing for them. They're just, kind of stuck with whatever is forced upon them. And so for me, I wouldn't be doing this right now if, say, for example, my mom couldn't cover for me with our work at home like 4 or 5 weeks ago, say, for example, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all just kind of like a big circle and keeps looping around.
Yeah.
And if you take care of people you love, they'll take care of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Who's that for you?
Yeah, I'd say it's my family as well.
Yeah?
Family is, it's definitely a big thing, especially my culture. And just like, I know a lot of friends in high school and just other people who didn't have like as close of a family bond, and you always have like they're kind of doing their own things, and it kind of felt like they were just kind of living at home instead of like being part of the family. It was just like that was their house, not their home.
No.
But for us, we used to go out and play basketball, we used to play soccer together, or we used to go on family trips, and like that's where I get all my photography from, is like on trips like that. But it's all about like staying together, and family's such a big thing, and like eating together, dinner,
Oh yeah, definitely.
things like that.
I think eating together is a lost art. Like with my family, we still insist. No, it's kind of impossible sometimes with work and schedules and whatnot. But we kind of insist on, if we can wait, we'll wait, because that whole gathering at the family table is very important. And some people, like, it goes over their heads, but it's very key to like see the people that you care about eating on one table.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense, right? Because from a parent's perspective, you see the kids that not the kids, like sometimes they're old, right?
Yeah.
You see the children of your family eating. And so you know you're doing something right.
Yeah.
And for the kids, you see your parents and you know you're doing something right as well, right?
And it's like a way for parents to show love as well.
Yeah.
Like, here's food I made for you.
Yeah.
Classic. I cut some fruit up for you. Here you go. Let you have that too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so random,
Yeah.
but that's
It's
just their
that's
nature.
the way.
Yeah. All right, bro. I was going to ask you one more question,
Okay.
but I didn't get the chance to because we didn't get no bonus. But I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yeah, go
It's
ahead.
not deep. It's not that deep. Do you have a signature shot?
A signature shot.
Like for a movie?
As in something that I get inspiration from, or like
No,
myself?
like, do you know how some filmmakers have their own signature shots? Like for Sam Raimi, it would be the zoom ins.
Ah, right.
Something like that.
Probably the whip pan.
What's that?
So it's when you like
Oh, yeah, yeah,
whip
okay,
into
yeah. A cut.
the frame. Yeah, and you kind of whip.
Okay.
But my philosophy in filmmaking is adaptability. I love Roger Deakins, who's one of like the biggest cinematographers, and his motto, or the way that he works is about being adaptable for the project. And a lot of cinematographers have like a certain style that they shoot. He doesn't like that idea, and I don't like that either. And it's more about, I shoot what serves the story. So I'm going to adapt my style, adapt my way of filmmaking so that I can make the best product. It's not about, one of my lecturers said, it's not about waving at mum. And it's not about like, hey mum, look what I can do.
Yeah.
It's about, what can I do to serve the story? How can I make the best product possible?
Okay.
And so, yeah, I do love a whip pan, but everything I do is motivated by something. And I'm never going to put in a shot. I'm never going to make a decision just for the sake of doing that.
Okay. Do you know how we talked about earlier about how you want to be genuine with your storytelling? You sound like a guy that wants to be always genuine and authentic.
Yeah.
Now, it might sound difficult, but who's the Marsalis that no one knows but you?
What's the secret to me? That is a tough question. I don't know. No one knows about. I feel like I don't outwardly express a lot of things. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in my head that I don't explicitly talk about. But I think through my films, that's like a way, like a creative output or release. Just a way that I can communicate my ideas and my feelings through my films. Like, sense of self-acceptance and identity is something that I have talked about. Well, not necessarily talked about, just like considered and thought about a lot. But I never really outwardly tell people that. It's just through my films, like Dress to Impress. It's about self-acceptance. It's about identity, and bringing these experiences into your films is like my way of telling people that.
That was beautiful, bro. That was pretty deep. We good?
Then can I close it?
Yeah, I know.
Kick us out.
Yeah. Dude, just before we go, list your top 3 movies.
Top 3. Interstellar.
Yes.
Oh,
I thought you didn't like Christopher Nolan. What is this?
No, I don't not like Christopher. I just didn't like Tenet.
Okay, yeah.
Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I love that one because like every shot looks like a photo, like a well-crafted photo. the new Spider-Verse movie was like one of my favorites as well. And I'm forgetting one because I have like, I don't know if you know the Letterboxd app, but it's like social media for film nerds.
I don't know what that is.
And
You'll fill me on after.
yeah, and like you list your top 4, and I always remember it, but I'm kind of blanking at the moment.
It's not Titanic.
No, it's not Titanic.
good.
It is. Give me 1 second.
We're gonna check the documents.
I can't believe I've forgotten this. This is this is so sad. It is. Oh yes, Hunt for the Wilder People by Taika Waititi.
Yeah, nice.
I love Taika and his directing style as well.
Yeah, he's cool. He's great.
Yeah,
He's great.
and like it's about telling genuine stories through drama comedy as well. So I think I gave you 4, but
Can you shut the door, please?
those are my top 4.
That's top 4. I was gonna say, yeah, you
Yeah.
cheated the system.
Yeah.
No, that's alright. I don't mind. I can't list my top 3 off the top of my head, so we're gonna
Yeah.
skip on that.
I always get asked, "What's your favorite movie?" I can't pick one.
No, that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's a trick question. I don't like getting asked what's my favorite movie because it changes over time.
Yeah.
Right. You watch a movie and now that's your favorite movie, and you watch another movie and like that's your favorite movie. So yeah, no, never pick one. That's what kind of artists. I don't like picking top 3 artists.
Yeah.
Even though I know I'm always gonna listen to The Weeknd no matter what.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the kind of Emmys at my Spotify every
Yeah.
time he picks up everything, you know. But one last thing before we go. So this is a simulation,
Yes.
and it's gonna get switched off within the next 5 days. What is your last message to you or to whoever is watching your story before they switch off the simulation? And I want you to look at the camera and say it.
Wow. I'm gonna feel like a motivational talk right now, but like, be yourself. But I truly mean that. I believe you need to be genuine with who you are, and that's a theme that we've been talking about today. Be who you are, and don't let anyone else make you have to sacrifice that, because you will see that it is more beneficial to be yourself later on if you don't see it right now.
That's nice. I wouldn't have said it any better. All right, now before we go, where can people find you?
So I've got multiple social medias that you guys have stalked.
Yeah,
But
big time.
we've got, I think if you want to see like my current work at the moment, you can see the Film by Mars account. So film by _Mars on Instagram.
With a Z or with an S?
With an S.
Okay, cool.
So like the planet.
Yeah.
Where else can you see me? That's basically my main thing. Or you can contact me as well.
Oh, we'll tag you in the reels anyway.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But which one do you want to be tagged in?
Yeah, my film account. You can tag me on that one.
You love your films,
That's
don't
my
you?
more professional account, I guess.
All right, man. Marsalis, thank you very much for coming over. I know it's been a big drive, but I appreciate coming over. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for Aksan and Spectrum for the space. And till next time, take care. Thanks, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man.